I think we are live. I think we are, guys. Yes, we are, guys. Welcome to the Perpetual and D Time Love Show. Alex is making a late entrance. Not like him. Actually, no, he's not actually. It's 4 minutes to 9 p.m. Who is with us? Let's have a look. Jay Gray Wheater. Hello, my friend. Is anyone else here? Just wait for you guys to join. So, I hope everybody's looking forward to the Jubilee weekend. I know I'm going to be having a fantastic barbecue for sure. And yeah, as we wait for Alexandra Sfodi from Perpetual-Time to give you guys heads up, we are going to be talking about today the impact of the authorized dealers stepping into the pre-owned market, guys. Hi there, Mark Time. We're just waiting for the man himself, Alexandros Foddy. Where are you, my friend? I'll try and keep you guys entertained. Here he is, the main
Steve,
man,
how
the
are you?
one,
How's it going?
the only, Alexandros Foddy in the house. How are
How's
you, my
D?
friend?
I'm good. How are
Yeah,
you?
yeah, not bad, mate.
Looking
Not bad
suave,
at
D.
all. Thank you. You're looking very buff as usual. I
Oh
take it you
yes.
went gym today. Is that
Today I went to the
correct?
gym. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, right. Okay.
yeah. Good workout. You know,
Good.
nice. Sun.
Good.
It's nice weather outside, to be honest. So it was kind of, I wanted to be outside more, but I still enjoyed it. What about you?
Well, yeah. Well, I've been working, trying to catch up on all my admin work. Got home and was told that I need to cut the lawn, so my hay fever's playing up. So I'll apologise from now if I sound a little bit groggy. But we've got a few people now watching. I believe we've got 35 people, and we've got
Oh,
people
okay.
watching from Ghana as well. Fantastic. And we've
Seriously.
got the main man, Ian Nicholson, in the house as well.
Hey, Ian. How are you?
Good evening and welcome to the show. Please upvote for the start. Yes, top
Got
man.
got somebody watching from Ghana.
Wow.
International, eh?
International,
International,
brother. I
eh?
mean, that's a global reach, isn't it? For
Yeah.
Watchmaker. We've got Mrs. Dodger in the house as well.
Hello, Mrs. Dodger. What's Mr. Dodger up to? How was Italy? Mrs. Dodger went to Italy.
Oh, fantastic.
She left Mr. Dodger behind because, well, we'd probably leave Mr. Dodger behind as well, wouldn't we, D?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd probably like to go solo as well. No offense. No, I'm only joking. Lovely chap. Lovely chap. Is he from Poland, right? There, he was mentioned he was from. He lives out in
Polish.
Poland. Is that
Yeah, he
correct?
lives
Yeah.
in Poland. Yeah, yeah, he lives in
Nice,
Poland. They
nice.
came over, didn't they, when they bought an Omega from me,
All right. Okay.
and I also verified a watch for them that was bought from Mark Worthington, who's a very, very good watch dealer in the Northwest. I have a lot of respect for Mark Worthington. Good stock, So did a verification on that. All is good, and sold them an Omega watch, Seamaster. Yeah,
Fantastic. Yeah,
went
Mrs.
out for some
Dodger.
food, drink.
Italy was wicked. Dodger missed me as you would expect. Thanks.
Oh,
Oh,
Mrs. Dodger. Oh,
yeah. So, Alex, I've posted on Insta as well,
Mm,
and I've put it in our live feed in the Watch Addiction Club. So
excellent.
I think we've
Okay.
got about 80 people watching, Alex.
Wow.
So that's a good. So you want to start the show off properly at 9 p.m. or what do you want to do? You
Well,
lead
I
the way,
mean,
my friend.
look, this is something that I've always wanted to do, to have two professionals in the business, which obviously I'm a watchmaker in Liverpool, WASTEP, BHI, FBHI, sit on the board of the BHI, guild member, sit on the board of the guild. So for me, what I've always wanted to do is have a live stream where it's all open, any discussion, about watches,
Yes.
how to get into watches, about selling watches, buying watches, not trying to sell anything to anybody, which is really important. And also, I think today we're going to be talking about ADs, aren't we? So
Yeah. I
that's
mean,
where
look,
you come
guys,
into.
this is where I come in, right? These are my job adverts that you see online for the sales associates for the pre-owned market. I've had 20 jobs come in for the pre-owned, and they are looking with people with valuation experience, people, it has to be a minimal 2 years commercial experience in the pre-owned sector. So these guys are not necessarily coming from, authorized dealers. These are guys are coming from the grey market, guys. And I've been inundated with CVs for people jumping ship. Now, it says it all really, because look, guys, the market in the pre-owned, when I get the newsletters in, it's worth about $29 billion, Alex. Yeah. The pre-owned market.
Huge.
So,
It's a huge market. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but it's a huge market. The pre-owned market, as you know, the ADs, are now getting involved.
and I feel that ever since they got the green light from Rolex themselves, and I won't go into too much detail with names of the ADs and so on, because I obviously recruit for them, and it's probably me better off being on your channel than doing this on my channel right now. But
Thank you.
They look, as a whole, the big authorized dealers as a whole have got together and they've got an agreement that their main objective and their target is to retain 60% of the pre-owned market. That's a massive figure, but it leaves about 17 to 20 billion pounds revenue for the other, grey dealers out there, the specialists you could call them. So it is a little bit concerning, but I do feel there will be room for everybody, but they're going to have to really up their game in terms of attracting customers, giving them that assurance, that certification, that reassurance that they're in safe hands, because the efforts that they're going to, and I'll give you one example, Watches of Switzerland are giving their customers a pre-owned buying guide now. So it'll be like a brochure, what you get. They're doing ultrasonic cleaning, maintenance, servicing on all the timepieces, on all the brands, not just Rolex, but Rolex specifically will come with a Rolex certification to say that it's gone into Rolex and all their watches are going to be recently serviced with the paperwork. So it's it's a massive move. I think we discussed this, Alex, way back, and
I mean,
it was on the cards.
I mean, we both knew that this was going to happen, and we actually said that Rolex Watches Switzerland, they're like the FBI MI5. They watch and watch and watch and watch, and then they get enough data, enough evidence, and they do it themselves. Now, so for me, I'm in the business. I could easily be biased, but for me, the psychology now of buying watches is going to change, because now the ADs are getting involved. They are giving almost secure, they're giving certainty that the watches have either had a maintenance service, which will most probably also be checking the serial numbers through the manufacturer, rather than, say, no disrespect to Watch Register, but it's only as good as people use it. So you could have a watch on Watch Register that's stolen, and it may not be on the Rolex stolen list, and vice versa. So they're giving like the maintenance service. Now, maintenance service is minus a full service, changing the seals and checking the timekeeping and sealing the watch. And also they're giving a warranty as well. Now,
24-month warranty.
24-month warranty. So
24-month warranty. Yeah,
that's very, very impressive, And now I think people are going to say, well, most people are going to think, well, now that they're offering that, I don't mind paying that much extra. It depends on how much extra it is. But there's people
the prices are quite high. Look,
they are high. They're
high. I'm not going to lie. They are high. Just to let you guys know, look, I've placed the head of e-commerce and head of buying at some of the largest authorized dealers here in the UK, and they work within a global head of buying division as well, where they regularly meet and discuss the prices and discuss what they're going to do. Now, to give you guys a bit of inside information, even the likes of Goldsmiths, Mappin and Webb, that are part of the Watches in Switzerland group, they're going to be allocated like nearly up to $1 million plus buying revenue allocated to their stores. They'll let them have that free reign to purchase, each store. Goldsmith. Can you imagine goldsmiths? You can go in and they can buy technically a £250,000 watch from anybody, really. If the valuer says it's correct, the money will be transferred over, wired relatively quickly as well. So it probably is a little bit concerning to a number of people that I know, friends in the business, a little bit, because already they're saying, well, so and so's offered me this price, and they've got back to me relatively quickly. Can you match it or can you better it already? So the discussions I've had with some of the grey dealers is what they're trying to do with their stock is just try and sell their stock at the prices that they're going for at the moment, and not everything has dropped, as we're aware of, and then rebuy at the new market prices. It's just another cycle. Nothing changes, really. The only challenge they're going to have, I think, chasing the piece of the pie in terms of the secondary watches that are available out there, is probably the biggest concern. Unless you're relying on people that are your inner clients, your portfolio of clients that feel comfortable, they know you, but their heads will be turned, it is happening, and it's happening at a very, very fast rate. And I see the inventory increasing in size dramatically. They've got, they've spent 3.4 mil in the last month, the three watches of Switzerland that are based, Regent Street, the other two boutiques as well. They're spending money big time, Alex. The valuers are booking appointments left, right, and center. And I've been really busy and inundated with CVs of people trying to jump ship, to be honest with you. So I was shocked. I'm literally sieving out the good and the bad at the moment. So that's where we're at with it, Alex.
The only thing is, D, that I will say this, is that I can't get my head around, like, what are they going to do? Because we had this discussion before, like, let's say that they're buying in ceramic submariners.
Yes.
And I've seen the certain prices that they're offering for Daytonas. I know I mentioned just submariners, but let's say it's a submariner or a Daytona. They're now you're going to go in to want to buy a sub or a Daytona at RRP. What are they going to say? Well, actually, we can't supply you that because you don't have like the history of us, but how about we'll just sell you this pre-owned one at ×2 or ×3? It's a bit weird, isn't it?
Look, you know what I think? I spoke to, I won't mention their name, but I spoke to a Rolex manager that's been working with them for 20 years. Okay. And I said to her, how's this going to work? Because there's going to be an issue. She goes, well, look, in the past, Rolex would only buy historical museum pieces, vintage pieces. Yeah. Very rare pieces. So even she was shocked how it would work. But I've got a funny feeling, I'm making an assumption here, that you may be able to get up the ladder a little bit by purchasing maybe a pre-owned from them. Because don't forget, it's the AD.
Yeah, but then you've paid a lot more extra for that pre-owned. Do you know what I'm saying?
Look, there is a conflict of interest. But let's be honest, Alex, it's just the same if you go to a car dealership. If you walk into a Mercedes-Benz or BMW dealership, on one side you can order a brand new BMW for £90,000, and then you can go and buy the 4-year-old one at a lesser price. But maybe let's use Porsche for an example, yeah, which is a little bit more similar to Rolex. If you're getting a 911 Turbo S or a GT3, they're not necessarily readily available. You may have to pay over retail to get one that's 24 months old, for example, Alex, yeah, because of the waiting list, for example. So it's the same principle. It's not a brand new business method. You know what I mean? It's something that's been going on in the car industry for many years, for example. Now, it's all about timing, right? And I think they planned it to the T. I mean,
Yeah. We said this. Yeah, they planned it when the markets were stalling, hoping that they get an influx of people wanting to sell to them. So they're wanting to basically regulate the market.
Yeah, that's the key word. That is the key word. They're trying to clean up the secondary market. This was the exact word.
Yeah.
Their analogy, their sort of ideology is to regulate and clean up the market. Is pretty much where they're going with this, Alex.
Yeah, they're going to try and clean up. But my only concern is that, let's say somebody walks in to Watches of Switzerland that knows nothing about this whole situation where you have to wait. They walk in, they want to buy it, and they get told you're going to have to spend this and that extra. However, you can buy this pre-owned one at this rather higher price. That may completely put them off that whole experience, and they end up buying from a non-authorized dealer at the lesser price, because obviously Watches Switzerland and all these other companies will be selling at a higher price because it's been to Rolex and it's...
Yeah, I agree with you. But look, that's what they've put into hand. These guys that are going in there are trained with their unique selling points, right? They're going there with the USPs. They're going to be saying, look, you're getting a certified piece that is going to be easier to sell on the secondary market. Once you've got the paperwork buying from them, I'm sure they're going to come up with some sort of spiel, to counter any sort of reservation or anything like that. Look, at the end of the day, I can see a lot of smaller Rolex licensed dealers shutting up shop because they haven't been offered the same opportunity as some of the larger authorized dealers, Alex.
Look, we know how Rolex are. I mean, it's not a lie that what they do is that if they're not happy with a particular company, they then ask them to refit the showroom. Now, Rolex have a contract with a company that only can refit the showroom. A shop can't choose who to refit it. Rolex use a company in the UK, I don't want to mention the name just in case, that will say this is how much it's going to cost and this is what you have to pay. If you don't do it, they take away your authorized dealership, because at the end of the day, they want to look the part. And I actually went to the new refitting of DM Robinson's in Liverpool. And I'll be honest with you, I looked and it was amazing. Everything was perfect. And I mean everything. I even was touching the carpets and I was getting some funny looks, but because it was just everything was. And just to mention, Mrs. Dodger, Rolex display watches, they are basically the real thing. I mean, I tried on the left-handed Rolex, which just is weird. The fact that it's on the crown's on the wrong.
We're so used to what we think a Rolex should look like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't change design often in terms of moving the crown on the other side. I mean, a lefty, but
no,
yeah, it's a lot to get used to, isn't it? That one.
It is, yeah. And there's a famous picture of an AD that's put it in upside down. That AD got in a lot. Yeah, that AD
really okay.
Yeah, it got in a lot of trouble for that. A lot of trouble.
Look, this is my job advert, guys. What I'm recruiting for at the moment. So I'm looking for pre-owned sales associates to work with the largest ADs in the UK, in the central London area, and that's going to be pushed out UK wide. Okay, so it's big. It's for real. It's not BS. It's not people trying to sort of sweep it underneath the carpet. It's happening. It's taking place right now. People are applying and they're trying to progress and move into the AD side of the business, people from the grey market. And I'll be honest with you, there's people that we know here on YouTube and people that have been in contact about it, Alex. Yeah.
Look, I don't blame.
It's a bit depressing for me because I see some of my friends that are a little bit upset about it, so they keep on contacting me and say, "Well, D, you're doing. It's not me that's doing it. I just run a recruitment agency. I'm RSC certified. I'm CIPD qualified as well. I'm part of the Institute of Directors. We refer a lot of British business to the British Horological Institute as well to try and generate watchmakers. The problem that I've got." The issue that I have with it all, I don't see where the watchmakers are going to come from. I just don't see it. How are they going to do something of this magnitude if you haven't got the staff?
They can't. It's becoming a big problem. Even Rolex even Rolex Service Center is having issues because the amount of watches that are coming in. Also, the restrictions on the 5-year warranty that they're offering, they're invalidating a lot of warranties for crazy reasons. They just can't cope with the work. I mean, they're quoting 14 weeks, and sometimes they take even longer.
Yes.
They're applying for watchmakers, they're applying for valeters, they're applying for staff. They can't. They've created a big monster because they've restricted the parts so much, and they've restricted who can work on the watches. I mean, there was even a case a while ago where I actually supplied a Rolex accredited watchmaker. He's not in the UK, so I can't get in trouble. A part, even though he's Rolex accredited, because he wasn't on the level for that part. Now, can you imagine how frustrating it must be for me to supply a part and he's getting it from somebody that's not accredited? Get your head around that.
Yeah. Look, the biggest problem I've got when I'm recruiting, when all these ADs come to me, we need a watchmaker. The majority of people that are applying to my advertising or in my searches that get recommended to me, they are self-taught watchmakers. And that really is an issue for me. You know, they're not West Step certified like yourself. You know, they're just self-taught, and they're coming out of Dubai, working with these luxury, you know, boutiques out there and servicing watches. Just really rings alarm bells a little bit. The volume of people that I speak to, and I say, well, you know, they will not take you on unless you are certified plus the commercial experience. You need minimal 4 to 5 years experience. It's a bit like being a doctor. And it's a bit like being a surgeon. You know, you're not just going to walk in and work on these premium watches. So this is why you find a lot of the time, look, this is the honest truth. Watches of Switzerland and a few other ADs have said to me, they've had watches come in that they've rejected. Alex, they've not got the green light.
But they've rejected
They've rejected because the watch is not totally correct.
As in the Rolex watch is not totally correct.
Well, it's not even right. It's not just Rolex. It's even Omegas
that have been bought. Where have they been bought from?
From, you know, the used market, the grey market. You know,
but this is something I keep saying to you. You know, I get people that come in and say, "Can you service my Submariner? Can you service my lady's Datejust?" And I'll say, "Excuse me, sir, madam, you do know that the bezel isn't original. Like, how can it not be original?" And then you have to explain to them what aftermarket means, blah, blah, blah. And you'll be surprised. I mean, if I get 100 Rolexes, I would say at least 20 of them have been modified without the customer knowing. There's a difference between them not knowing and being told on paperwork, like custom or aftermarket. Some of these people have been sold the watch and not even been told at all. This is a big, big problem. And this is something that Rolex get very, very frustrated with. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them because they have the 3-part policy, don't they? If it has if it has 3 parts or more, that it's non-original Rolex, they basically won't work on it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've got a GMT Master 2 in that's got a diamond bezel, a diamond dial, diamond shoulders, and the guy did not know that it's afterset.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
This is probably where Perpetual Trader will come in.
Yeah.
Alex, I think because, look, you know, let's put it to you like this. Although I do a lot of stuff with ADs and so on, and I work with Swatch Group and Richmond Group as well, I work with a lot of great dealers as well and help them with their recruitment as well. And there's always a way of finding alternative solutions. So, you know, it's a bit like, you know, the big car supermarkets as well. They do very well. Yeah, let's be honest. It's going to be room for everyone, but it's all about how you package the product that you're selling. And I think if they're trying to regulate everything, there's going to be a need for more certification when you buy a watch. It's not good enough to get an unqualified guy that just happened to be a watch dealer overnight authenticating your watch and giving you a certificate for insurance purposes that the watch is correct.
Look,
That's not no disrespect,
no
but
disrespect, buddy.
it's like me giving someone a diagnosis, a medical diagnosis, without having a clue.
Look, I mean, today I had a white gold Daytona that came in that I quoted about 2,000 plus VAT, not to service it, but to refinish the case and bracelet because it's so badly damaged. Now, he bought the watch and was told the dial was non-original, but the
Oh
black
wow, the
dial,
dial, yeah. Okay,
he was told that the white, he was told the dial, but the dial is original.
right.
So it
Okay,
works the other way around as well. So the guy sold it to him saying, by the way, the dial is non-original, but it actually is an original black diamond dial Daytona. We know how much those go for.
yeah,
But this
yeah.
this Daytona was absolutely, it, it's been badly well worn and badly polished to the point where I think I quoted about 2,500 to just work on the case, bracelet, and bezel. Now, if that went to Rolex, they would say, right, new bezel, new bracelet. We're talking at least 15 grand.
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, probably around 15 grand, and that's a lot of money. But yeah, sometimes people buy watches and they don't have them checked. They don't, and by the time they get them checked, they either come to me or they go to Rolex or any other brand. They say, oh, by the way, we can't work on this because it's all after set. But by that time, it's too late. If they knew that prior to purchase, then they can make the decision if the watch is for them,
Yeah.
and they can
Yeah.
maybe negotiate the price.
Yeah. I think the biggest challenge in the market will be this certification that they're coming up with now, Alex. Yeah. It's whether you have enough. Look, the thing is, there's a lot of good grey dealers out there that know
Mm.
their stuff. They've got 30 years of experience. These are the guys that you go to, right? Experience counts for a lot in this game. Yeah. This is where, the expertise comes in. You don't have to be necessarily a qualified watch valuer. You can gain that expertise for experience and working with people that know the business. Yeah. But I think some of the smaller, little dealers that have popped up out of the blue, probably they'll be the ones that struggle, to be honest with you. Not all of them, but I would be concerned for those types of dealers, to be honest with you, Alex.
Well, the other issue is that Rolex now are using the public as priority for servicing. If you're a dealer and you're sending your watch to Rolex under your business name, they will now decline the work because they're now using the public and their warranties as priority work. Now it's almost like they're basically disregarding the grey. I don't like to use grey market dealers. There's nothing grey about them.
Pre-loved.
Pre-loved, pre-cherished.
Pre-loved, yeah.
Pre-cherished, dealers.
People with good taste.
So it's almost like they're targeting them. Let's be honest.
Yes.
And now there's an issue with the warranties because technically are the warranties transferable? So I think Rolex now...
Listen, there's a big issue here, right?
Yeah.
I get different statements to my question. So if I buy an Omega watch from a pre-owned specialist, some people say to me, no, the warranty isn't void. When I go to the Omega boutique, they say to me, yes, it is. So I don't know who's telling the truth. Until you have a problem, how does it work? I don't know. For me, if you buy, it should be just like a car, right? If you buy a car and it's got a 5-year warranty and it's got an issue, it doesn't matter if you're the second or third or fourth owner. If the car is still under manufacturer warranty, they should honor that. But I think the Swiss have got different ideas and different policies. I don't know how it works.
Look, if you've got any Rolex model and the crown is dented, they void your warranty. If the glass is badly chipped, they void your warranty.
Wear and tear, any wear and tear voids it. I mean, what? So you're meant to have it in your safe. If it breaks in your safe,
you do like this. You give it caress and you stroke it and you put it to bed. Look, I mean, it's all about how you look after it. And even if you get third party to badly polish it, they'll say, "Oh, it's you void the warranty." But also, allegedly, Rolex have a naughty list. So if you're somebody that's caused a problem with them, whether you're an individual or a shop, then they're not interested. I've even seen public watches and dealers' watches where they just send a letter and say, we voided your warranty and we're not going to work on your watch. They're basically not even willing to work on it. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You buy a pre-owned watch with a warranty, you send it to Rolex and they say, by the way, we voided your warranty, you can have it back. Because it happens.
I mean, it's mad. It's mad. I just want to do a big shout out to Ian Nicholson. Me and Nicholson went to Swatch. They've got the red carpet out for us, isn't it, Ian? We've bought a special timepiece. Do you want to see it, Alex? Do you want to see this bad boy? I think you're going to get it's going to get your approval.
I can't wait. Go on.
This is the next investment piece. This is what the flippers are on now, yeah? This is what they're after.
Are you serious? The flippers are on this? Come on. No, you're joking.
On this, yeah? Trust me, there was you ask Ian, there was 6 security guards. Now, since it is the Jubilee weekend, I thought I'd get in the mood of things.
Jesus.
Get ready for this, Alex. This is really up your street, this one. Her dress turns red when it's PM. Obviously, it's the wrong time. Sorry, Alex. I don't want to put a downer on your
How much did you pay for that?
Say £83 sterling memorabilia when she passes away.
Is it an investment, right?
It's investment,
investment.
This is the next big one. This is the hype. This is the new hype. Forget the moon swatch. This is all about the queen, the Vasilisa.
Vasilisa, yeah.
Sorry to change subject there, but I just thought I'd Ian had a great time. D love Swatch, value already up. Yes, I've seen them. Look, I don't know if anyone's buying them for £843 sterling, but me and Ian picked them up for £83 sterling. Impulse buy. We asked for the moon swatch. There was nothing available, and we walked out with 30. I think they're 35 millimeter quartz watches for kids.
Yeah, but I mean, are they on Chrono 24?
I haven't really tried. I checked on eBay and I noticed that there was an auction. One went for an auction. I think it sold for £250 sterling.
What, one of those swatches?
Yeah, there's only 3,000 of them.
God, there's only 3,000 of them because there's 3,000 idiots to buy one.
They're sold out.
3,000 idiots to buy him.
Listen, we are celebrating. Me and Ian thought we'd do our part and celebrate the Jubilee, yeah? So hence we'll be wearing these over the Jubilee weekend.
I want to answer Carl's question. Will they blacklist you for selling the watch back to them for more than you purchased off them? That's a good question, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. Look, it's going to be... I still can't get my head around it.
This is apparently, if you buy a Submariner off Watches of Switzerland, you sell it back to them, then you don't get penalized for selling it because you're selling it back to them. But then, so let me get this right. So if you were to buy one from Watches of Switzerland and send it back to them, surely they're gonna buy it for the higher price, aren't they? Think about it. Is that's
I don't think I think they're going to have. Look, the prices are going to be set. There's no going to be.
Yeah, the prices are going to be set, but they're not going to offer you RRP for your Submariner when you just bought it.
No, they're not. They're not.
So what does that mean then? So they're actually willing to buy it for more.
Look, I don't know what's going to happen. We'll soon find out.
This is complex, isn't it?
It's very complex. I mean, I'm sure they know what they're doing. Yeah, I mean, they already got they've got a 6-month, £250,000 recruitment spend. That's their budget. So I was like, look, that's me all over that then. But I'll be honest with you. I mean, there's a lot of conflict of interest. When every store that I went to, I asked this question. A lot of them denied that it was going on or anything was happening, and then some of them were like, "Yeah, it is. You see that unit across our store? That's going to be our pre-owned store.
So okay,
So it'd be a separate store. It could be. I think Goldsmiths will probably. I'm not 100% sure. This isn't an assumption, but they already said to me, see that site opposite us? That's going to be our pre-owned. So will it be like Goldsmiths pre-owned specialist? So it doesn't have a conflict.
Can you imagine you buy a Submariner off them and you're taking off the stickers and you say, right, okay, I want to sell it back to you now. What would you offer me? Think about it.
Look, the thing is, right, look, I think they'll look after their clients, Alex. I don't think it's going to be like first come, first served. I think look, you know what it's like. They'll have their top clients in different tiers, I don't think I think they'll be like appointment only. They'll have certain watches out on display, like Breitlings, Tudors and stuff like that, Omega. But when it comes to Omega, they won't be on display. They'll be making the phone calls to whoever they want. I think it's going to be quite targeted. I think that's how they're going to work it. I just can't see you going in and having, 10 Submariners, Daytonas sitting there and someone trying to buy, from order it in. It's just, I just don't see it. I just can't see how it's going to work.
Well, when DM Robinson's opened up their new showroom, they had all the acquired pieces, the steel sports. And I got a phone call from a friend, says, Alex, have you got any money on you? I'm like, why? Well, you need to go to Robinson's and buy the sports watches. And I started laughing. He says, what are you laughing at? What's so funny? What's wrong with you? I said, go in and buy them. He says, what do you mean? I said, go in and buy them. Go on. Go and buy them. He's like, why are you being like that? I said, go in and buy them. He's like, well, why? I said, they're not for sale. They're not for sale. And it's like there's people going in saying, I want to buy that. It's not for sale. You can try it on, but it's not for sale. We've got Mr. GMT, right?
Hello, Galimera. Is it in a Nichtan? Would you say in a daytime in Australia now?
No, it's Nichtan, isn't it?
Nichtan, yeah. Boss buys GMT. Look, there's an interesting comment. Mario Vieira. Watch the Switzerland Brent Cross Shopping Centre have used Rolex in stock. Now, I wasn't aware that all of the watches of Switzerland have the pre-owned stock already, because I was under the impression it was only the 3 central London branches that had them. But if they've already branched out to all of even like into Greater London, then they're in transition a lot quicker than I expected.
I think it's going to take what do you think, D? I mean, at least 6 months before we start to see a pattern of what's happening.
Yeah, one pattern I have seen, Watchfinder dropped all their prices by 5 to 10%. This is their response, was like dropping their pants down. But their prices are always high anyway, yeah? They're part of the Richmond Group. Most people don't know that. They're not an independent, pre-owned specialist. They're owned by Richmond Group. And, the whole point of that process was to just flog them their Cartier watches so they wouldn't have to destroy them, all the unsold pieces.
Because at the moment, I think, the Richmond Group is Cartier, Lang & Son. Who else? Is it Audemars Piguet?
No, they're still independent, aren't they?
Who else is there? There's Lang & Son.
Were you talking about Richmond Group, yeah?
Yeah, there's huge, isn't it?
It's huge. It's massive, Cartier, just to name one of them. I'm just thinking, like, my brain's gone. Is it Lange? Not Lange.
Yeah,
Lange are part of them as well, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. They've got loads of brands, haven't they?
They've got massive. I think Arnold and Sons is Swatch Group, isn't it? Arnold and Sons.
No, Arnold and Son. I'm sure that's Swatch Group. Yeah,
Swatch Group.
I think Swatch Group is the biggest out of all of them, and you've got LV.
No, Richmond Group is bigger. Richmond is bigger.
Swatch?
They've got JLC.
Yeah.
They've got JLC. I've just remembered, it's all coming to me now. It's been a long day. They've got JLC, Richmond Group as well. About Panerai, are they under their umbrella as
Yes,
well? I think they are.
Panerai under
Panerai as
Richmond
well.
Group. Yeah, Panerai.
Cartier.
Yeah,
They're they've got some bigger hitting brands in Swatch Group. Swatch Group, we've got Breguet,
Breguet.
Omega,
Yeah,
Arnold and Son. Haven't got anything really.
yeah. Roger
Breguet does compete
Dubuis,
with Lange, but
Vacheron
Lange,
Constantine.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Purdy. Oh, I didn't know it was Purdy. Roger Dubuis. Roger Dubuis are nice. You ever tried on a
yeah.
Roger Dubuis?
Yeah, I mean they're stunning pieces, but a bit out of my price point, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I like Roger Dubuis. I mean, you can get them on discount, but quite heavy discount, but they are beautiful pieces. The only thing I don't like about Roger Dubuis is that the white gold goes yellow. So it's like a rhodium. It's like
Oh,
a
I didn't know
rhodium
that.
plate.
Okay.
Yeah, Rolex white gold doesn't go yellow because of how it's refined. They refine their own gold, precious metals, and steel, etc. So you can polish it and it doesn't go yellow. But Roger Dubuis and Cartier, their white gold goes like a yellow, so you have to re-rhodium plate it.
Wow. Okay, I wasn't aware of that. See, like I was actually thinking about getting a Santos, the medium, and you've put me off a little bit, Alex. But I'm still thinking I might.
Why?
Well,
Oh, because of that
when
terrible
you,
movement they use.
yeah, because
Yeah.
it just, I just the first time I wanted to actually go and buy another Santos from the AD, and I thought if I was going to get a Cartier, it would be that. I think it's a beautiful piece, though.
Listen, D, you and I know that if ETA movements were still around, the companies would still use them because of
Yes.
how much they are to buy and how good they are. And this is
Yeah.
what really frustrates me when people say,
Got an ETA in this.
yeah, exactly. And people say, oh, well, this watch that I've got, it has an in-house movement. Well, in a way, you're trapped in a corner because if you have an in-house movement, it means that only the company is willing to work on it, can only get the parts, and you're going to have to pay the the high price, and then you're probably going to have other parts added to the watch that you don't want, but they've kind of made you have it. It doesn't always work that well having in-house movements. Plus, the R&D may have not been for significant. It may have not been for a period of time. So you end up being the guinea pig, like this IWC that I wore. The very first 7-day power reserve movement that they made had issues, no different than the coaxial first generation.
Yeah.
So I always say, the Cartier Roadster chronograph is a beautiful watch, fantastic movement. However, the bolt-on movement, it has to be serviced by somebody who knows what they're doing. Because some people blame the watch, but they don't blame the person that they gave it to service by cutting corners. Some watches are best to go back to the manufacturer. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
So, and I say that for like AP, Royal Oaks, certain Breguets, it's best to just bite the bullet and take it to the manufacturer. Like this IWC, I didn't even work on this. IWC did it to me for free. You see?
Right.
Yeah. So some watches, I don't ever mind someone ringing me up and saying, Alex, can you service this? And I'll say no. It's best if it goes back to the manufacturer, because either parts are restricted or even parts are available, it's still best to go back to the manufacturer because there's some modifications that they do that I can't do.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, it's something I want to address, really, going back to the AD, something that I spoke with Ian about, actually, about how to get discounts at the authorized dealers. And they're always changing policies. And as I
let me get my pen and paper 1 minute. Go on.
Yeah, well, you better listen to this, guys, because it's getting even more difficult because the sales associates have less power than they ever had because they're told they're not really allowed to discount on watches anymore. But there are ways of doing it. And if you sort of guide them and sort of head them in the right direction, they'll be like, oh, Yeah. So what it is at the moment. So this is just for the general. This doesn't include Rolex, for example, or Patek or Vacheron or anything like that. But let's say anything above £1,000 sterling or just under £2,000 sterling, the likes of Goldsmiths, Mappin Webb, Watches in Switzerland will offer you like a Mont Blanc notepad or pen of the value of 200 to 300 pounds sterling. They may even offer you a Wolf watch winder that's worth 300 pounds to get the sale over the line. Now, what you can say is, look, I want to refund those products, and then they will refund that value of those products from your watch purchase, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's the only way they can put it through the system. They cannot physically say they've deducted money off the timepiece, but they're giving you a refund. So they give you a cash, they basically make up the cash difference on your purchase. That's the only way they can put it through the system. So anything, for example, goldsmiths, for example, most people have a goldsmith in their town centre, in their city across the UK. There's more of them than there are watches of Switzerland. Yeah. So anything above £2,000 to £10,000, they're offering Mont Blanc pens. Anything of them could be value of, £1,000 to £3,000, these pens, right? So you can get, it really comes down to what the Soza sales is willing to give you as a gift, for example. Yeah. What type of customer you are. They're allowed to do this to try and get the deals over the line. So technically there isn't percentage discounts as there were before. There are gift refunds. And they'll probably kill me for telling you this, but that is one way of going into those particular ADs. But they're very, very difficult. It's down to the discretion of the actual store manager if you allow it to sign it off. It's not really the sales associate. It'd probably be approved by the store manager. If he approves it and does it, he's got the authority to do that. Now, the likes of Ernest Jones, they still work with percentages, a lot of them as well. So obviously they're not Rolex authorized dealers, but they sell Omega, Breitling, Tudor, you can get discounts. I've been offered 15, 20% off, even up to 25%, of Tudors from Ernest Jones. So, it really depends on, how long if you've got a buying history as well helps, to be honest with you. But it depends if they're desperate. You go to them beginning of January or end of January next year, you'll see that you'll get some good discounts on these. It's about being patient and not getting the watch when it's just been launched, for example. Just wait for it to die down. And in different, I'll give you an example. My second home is in Southend-on-Sea, and the Ernest Jones and, even H. Samuels, they do price match. So all the guys that are into the more affordable watches, if you go online and you can find an authorized jeweler online, they will price match that watch at their dealership. So if you've seen a Seiko Prospex Diver for £998 and they've got it on sale, another guy for £600, H. Samuels will price match that. Most people are too afraid. They think these things don't happen, but they do.
They happen. Listen, I've worked for ADs. I know it happens. You worked with ADs and recruitment, and also, knowing how it works. So we both know that it happens. But I will say it's all about the attitude of how you are, how you come across straight away. It's about how you walk in there. If you walk in there like with with the wrong attitude, being arrogant, wearing like a fake Richard Mille or expensive gear and thinking you own the place, well, they're not gonna entertain you. If you just walk in there and just be well mannered and just be honest, you were interested in buying this, I really like the watch, and don't ask a discount straight away, then you've got nothing to lose. And also, if they offer you the watch winder and you can't get out the watch winder, just sell it on eBay, because watch winders are pointless. They're not good. They're not good for your watch. Do not use a watch winder. And I keep saying it, unless you're Floyd Mayweather that has a large amount of watches and you literally are wearing one watch a day or one watch every so many hours then yes, but don't use a watch winder.
We've got a question from Thomas Burnett as well. There's two, actually. Do you want to read it out, Alex?
Yes, Alex, indeed. Do you think that Rolex ADs will start buying vintage pieces now? It would be a great opportunity for them to broaden their market.
They have already. They've already. Well, it depends. You know, we're talking about what age. You know, 90s is vintage. Early 2000s is considered vintage, right? You know, when you look at their descriptions, they're saying, you know, 2000, a circa early 2000 piece is vintage, not classic. You know, it's vintage. So they have broadened their horizon. They are actually physically buying vintage pieces, Alex.
Yeah, I've seen the prices though, D. And okay, I totally appreciate and understand that the watches have been serviced by Rolex or by their in-house Rolex accredited watchmakers, but they are high. They
Look,
are
I
high.
don't think. Look, I'll be honest with you. Having, you know, look, I've spoken to, you know, head of e-commerce, head of buying, and I don't think they are going to try and push the prices down. You know, it's within their interest to keep the prices high. They buy right, they sell high. They don't want to collapse the market. If anything, this helps, you know, the secondary market, the grey dealers, or, you know, pre-love owners, whatever you like to call them, Alex. But just for everyone to understand, yeah, great, the grey market. I think it's going to be good because at least you'll have a price point that you can look at and say, okay, these are the prices, this is the market value. You're not going on what Chrono 24. What thing I have been reassured, the prices will be capped.
They
Okay.
will be capped.
They will be capped. So you're
Yep.
not going to find, you know, models going over ridiculous over list. You know, Chrono 24, you sometimes it's shock horror. They are going to dictate the market. This is
Oh
it will
yeah,
be
yeah,
more of a
yeah.
Parker's guide. You know, you remember the Parker's
Mhm.
guide, you know,
And the cars.
for the cars. It's going to be a little bit like they've launched a buying guide now, right? That they're going to send out to their customers. If you go onto their website, I was sent a link about the ultrasonic clean, the maintenance, the pressure check, all their watches. If you buy a Rolex sub and it says it's 300 meters water resistant, that watch would have been checked, that pressure checked, everything would have been checked that it has that water resistance. And I just find that, you know, when I speak to other watchmakers, they say you can't give a warranty on that, you know, on that normally, even when it comes out of the Rolex. But that's what they've got on their website. So I was a little bit
Look.
confused about that.
What that, in my opinion, I don't. I'm not saying this is 100%, but what they're most probably doing is that if a watch comes in, they then choose to either service it or maintenance service. So they'll calculate. Look, if it will only need a service. I'm not saying for Rolex, maybe for other brands, unless the rate, amplitude, etc., is way off. They then service it, or they may give it a maintenance service. Now, as far as I know, Hublot, LVMH, which is part of Hublot, they offer a maintenance service and a full service, so you can choose which one you want. Now, that's what they're doing. So they're going to still cover a 24-month warranty, maybe just offer a maintenance service.
Yeah.
So at least
Okay.
you know that the seals have been changed and it's been polished, etc. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's been fully serviced, but they're still willing to give you a 24-month warranty. What the terms and conditions of the maintenance service warranty, I don't know. I don't know.
Look, one
But,
thing.
well,
Sorry,
sorry.
Alex, go ahead. Sorry.
No, no,
Go
it's
on.
okay. It's all right. Go on.
What I was going to say as well, I did ask the question. I won't mention what AD it was, but I mentioned, look, I've got a bluesy pre-ceramic, circa I think 2002, and they said they would part exchange on that, and you'd probably get a better deal if you do a part exchange rather than go and get them to buy your watch. So I get the feeling it's going to be there's going to be more negotiation. Obviously, they don't give discounts on the new stuff, but I think there will be an opportunity for you to negotiate on the price. That price high, I'm sure they're going to give something back.
Well, this is also going to affect Chrono 24 because Chrono 24 don't actually show sold prices, do they? They just show
No,
prices that
no,
they want. They don't actually show sold prices. Now, if Watches Switzerland are asking for X amount, they most probably will be selling at that price unless it's a part exchange.
yeah,
So people are already dictating from Watches of Switzerland what they're expecting that their watch is worth. However, what people are selling at is not what people are going to buy at.
yeah.
Now, There's one particular company that offered me 4,600 for my IWC.
I think we know who that is. Yep.
Yeah, I bought that for more than that, you know. So yeah, it's
Out of
look,
curiosity, Alex, you should have just gone to one of the great dealers to see what they would give you for it. Because this, let's be honest, this is what people want to find out. I mean, you know, there's a lot of good grey dealers out there. Look, I'm not swaying from one or the other. I work with ADs, but I also work with grey dealers as well. So I'm sort of caught up like a bridge between both. Now, if you can get to a good grey dealer that you trust, a reputable dealer, and will give you a good deal, why wouldn't you go with him?
look, yeah. I mean, the question is, D, what would we do if we were selling watches? Let's say that we were we would sell watches. Who would we go to?
My mind is clouded here because I'm not going to sit on the fence. Look, I work with these guys. I can't just turn around and say to them, look, hello, Sard, top man.
Hey, Sard's a great guy.
Sard is the man. Sard is the man.
Cool.
You know, I can't tell you that I'm going to, can you imagine? I say to them, I went and bought all of these watches from so-and-so, but I know me and you have got a relationship. Doesn't work like that. It's a bit like you scratch my back, I scratch yours sort of attitude. I expect when I go in to get a good deal.
Yeah,
Alex, even with the brands that I work with, you know, I expect to get a good deal because I'm helping them, they're helping me. You know, it works both ways. So, but look, money does talk to me. And if I can get a very good deal, I'm not going to lose money just to show face. I will go sometimes with the best deal, but it has to be someone that I trust. Yeah. So look, I would love to get retail. Let's be honest, Alex, you know, we all do. You know, we all want to get a Rolex at retail. That's not always the case. Yeah. But
look, it's all about who you buy from. You know, I mean, I've had situations where I had one client who wanted to buy a Rolex off me at one time, but he was offered the same watch at about 150, 200 pound less.
right.
Now, the watch I offered, which was a Rolex Oyster, was fully serviced with papers. He decided to buy one that wasn't serviced with no papers at 250 pound less, and then wanted to give it to me to service. So he's already paying more. I opened it up and it was rusted. He never got his money back.
You mentioned this to me before, yeah.
And then there was a gentleman who wanted a tag. He didn't like my price. He bought one from Chrono 24 from Japan, paid the customs duty, asked me to take a link out, and the watch was fake.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't use the Chrono 24 escrow period. He didn't have the watch checked within that period, so he lost everything.
14 days, is it? Or is it more than that?
As far as I know, it's around 14 days, but then you've got to find somebody who's willing to look at it within that period, and then you've got to pay.
Yeah, that's clever. That's clever. I think it's all calculated. It's all
very calculated.
Honestly, I hate this stuff. You know, I mean, you know, not really looking after, you know, the customer. I mean, that's what I really dislike. I mean, look, shall I be honest with you? Say I didn't know anything about watches, or I didn't know, I had no bias, or my mind wasn't clouded. I probably would prefer to go to the authorized dealer and sell to them and buy from them. I just think it gives you a little bit more reassurance.
Look, you
look at it from a non watch collector or non-YouTuber. My friends will be upset me saying that, but I'd have to say you've got to think about it. There probably a lot of people would prefer to do that.
Look, I've seen people that have haggled for 100, 200 pound, and when you actually calculate the time they spent haggling this money, they could have just bought the watch from elsewhere, a better condition watch. You know, it's not just about the money; it's the time. Now the problem is,
it's all about trust.
It is, and also sometimes people will sell a watch because they don't like how they. So if you have a watch and it's basically you bought it on a bad experience, that bad experience is always with you, and that it carries it in the watch, and you never enjoy the watch. But if you get a watch and you have it checked prior to purchase and it was a great experience, you then enjoy the watch. You then love to wear it because you don't always think, oh God, when I bought this watch, it was just such a nightmare. I had to have this change in it because I was told this and that. You lose the love. And it's true. That's like in everything in life. You know, if you buy a car and you find out that it's been smashed,
It's a lemon. You're like, damn, I'm
Yeah,
never buying that brand again. Because I hear people saying,
yeah,
oh, I don't like Mercedes, I don't like BMW, I don't like Porsche. Because my one was a lemon. It sort of scars you for life in terms of that perception of that brand. But what I would say is, do you know what I think will be the trump card for the AD pre-owned market are the watches of real magnitude, the watches of very high value. Yeah. I think that will be a safer place to buy. I'm talking about watches that over exceed, 250,000 pounds sterling or $300,000, Alex. I think that will be, because think about it, if it was me, if I'm spending that sort of money, I will feel a little bit more at ease and be able to sleep at night knowing that I purchased a watch from them than someone that I don't know. I'm being honest. I have to be honest. I'm not one, just to give everyone what they want to hear. If it was my money, I'd want to feel happy that I've got that certification. I've got
yeah,
a big company I can fall back
yeah,
on that ain't going to go bust next month.
yeah. So if you can imagine, the extra amount you're paying for that watch is like an insurance.
Yeah, it's the
It's
insurance
like,
policy. Yeah.
isn't it? It's like an insurance policy, and that's how people are going to think. There's going to be people that think, if I just spend that extra 1,200 quid, 1,500 quid, or two
I just want to
grand,
sleep at night, Alex. I don't want to
yeah,
be wondering if my watch is all right.
yeah,
I don't want that horror story that one day when I do go to sell that I have been ripped off, because there's so many people look, what they have said to me so far, they've had loads of documents from people that are not qualified to evaluate this watch and say it's this, this, and this. And then when they go and get it checked out, it's not, and the customer's horrified. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
They
yeah,
trusted these people and they're horrified. Yeah. And guess what? Even Breitlings or, it's always about Rolex, but it's the same.
yeah.
People that read it's the same with Omega and even Tudors
Mm.
have been rejected. And I'm just like, Jesus, they're not just taking anything. So it just shows me that whatever they're doing, they have the expertise to do it. It's at a different level.
Look, a dealer's only as good as his supplier,
Yeah.
and he's only as good as his watchmaker or whoever he uses to look at that watch. Now, I'm not saying I know everything and other watchmakers don't. No, I'm not saying that. But there is stuff that will be missed, and there'll be stuff that, situations like serial numbers.
Yes.
Certain serial numbers have been changed, and it's very, very difficult to tell. It's very difficult to tell.
The biggest one is Omega serial numbers on the lugs. Yeah, those little reference numbers they have. As soon as those are rubbed out, they don't even they're rejecting them straight away. But some of them are from they're old pieces. Alex, could be from a polish or
No, but listen, D, the problem is that people jump. Oh, look, Oshin.
hey Oshin, hello my friend.
Good lad.
Good to see you, my friend.
The problem is, D, like on the older ladies' Datjusts, you got the Jubilee bracelet, right?
Yeah.
Now you got the non-solid end links. So what happens is the spring bar goes in, and there's like the two curls for the link that rubs on the serial numbers.
Yeah. See, this is where your expertise comes in.
Yeah. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but people will think, oh, the serial numbers have been rubbed off. No, they haven't. It's because it's just the design. So then as soon as someone hears that or is taking it to someone who's not experienced, to think, oh, by the way, your serial number's been rubbed off. Automatically, the person that's just bought that watch is thinking, I don't want that watch. I'm going to go and take, it's psychologically, they don't love that watch anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Look, there's a lot of people give the wrong information. You could take your watch to somebody and they will say to you, oh, this watch is not authentic, and take it to another guy who tells you it is authentic. This is the problem. So what the authorized dealers are doing now, from my adverts, a lot of these guys are from the pre-owned marketplace. Yeah. The grey dealers are jumping ship going to work for these guys. And I've placed a few of them there. But they're leaving the actual final valuation to a qualified person. So they will give their report on that timepiece. They will take it in checking it themselves, but they'll say, look, we've got to send it in, and then we'll give you our final report, our final valuation. So it's not the straight cut. You walk in, you meet with a guy, and he says to you, he has a look at it like this, and he's like, yeah, it all looks good to me, and he puts it on his shop front window. It doesn't work like that with these guys, yeah? The Rolexes are being sent to Rolex.
Yeah.
You don't have, that's, what more can you do?
Look, the way I see it is that if you're wanting to buy a Rolex of somebody and you don't have the facility to have the watch checked prior to purchase, all you need to do is have it in writing that when you purchase the watch, you'll be sending it to Rolex for an estimate. Once you send it to Rolex for an estimate, you decline the estimate. If they're passing it through as a watch, then you know everything's okay. If you can have that in writing to say, look, I'm going to have this sent to Rolex just for them to check for lost and stolen and check that everything is okay, then that's fine. Do so. Because a lot of people don't do that. They just, they say, oh, Alex, the guy had expensive cars, right?
Yeah, 911 from
911, Blucios, he's rich, big house, he won't rip me off. The mangas, do you know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't know if I've told people this story before, but I'll tell it again. Some years ago when I had my business at my parents', I got a phone call at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, and I had a guy say to me, Alex, I bought that Rolex a lot cheaper than what you offered me. Now, that really annoyed me, the fact he rang me so late. And I said, okay, that's brilliant. He goes, I can tell it's real. This is what he said to me, D. I can tell it's real.
It's got the crown on the dial.
It's got the crown on the glass. I said, and I laughed.
On the glass, yeah. If you can see it, mate, it's not real.
I said, what are you laughing at? He says to me, what are you laughing at, Alex? What's so funny? I said, do you walk around with an eyeglass? He goes, what do you mean? I says,
I lose one of these, Alex. I don't know what's about.
I said, you walk around with an
one.
I said, you walk around with an eyeglass? And he says, no, why are you saying that? I says, because, well, we know for a fact the glass is not real. So that's not going well, is it? I said, send me some pictures of the box and papers. Straight away, they're fake. I said, listen, and then this was my ego, right? And I must admit, I said, if the watch is real,
a little ego, haven't you?
Only a little, very small, eh? So I said to him, I tell you what, if it's real, I'll buy you one. He came straight to my house, and it was fake. Oh, don't worry, Alex, I'll get my money back. He never got his money back, all because he found it £250 cheaper.
Yeah. It's a scary world we live in.
Yeah, of course.
It really is. And look, another thing that they're doing at the moment, they're sort of hitting back. They're putting out these newsletters and they're sending them out to their customers, and they're reporting on the industry news, and they're exposing genuine and good grade dealers as well. So it's not, it's a scary world we're living in at the moment. But the thing that really, really blows my mind is how much the pre-owned market is worth. Some market research company did. It's hard to say. A lot of deals happen that don't get recorded, but there's recorded above like 29. The market's worth £29 billion, Alex. Yeah. Now, if you look at what Watches of Switzerland did, I think they turned over £934 million of sales. They're massive. They're thinking, well, we can literally double that now if we go into the pre-owned market. It just makes sense.
Look, they just want to control it, D. Look, I don't blame them for it. I mean,
but Rolex have done this. They've allowed them to do this, Alex. It's a bit different.
Have they? Have they?
Of course they have. Because look, there was rules that you couldn't sell, pre-owned Rolex next to, if you're an AD, if you're a licensed Rolex dealer, you could sell maybe Breitling on a Megaprem, but you weren't allowed to sell a pre-owned Rolex. There was rules to the license. You weren't allowed to do that. People like Ernest Jones that lost their Rolex license, they got done for one, giving too many discounts, And 2, they were the first AD to start selling pre-owned watches. And they're probably thinking, damn, if only we kept our Rolex license, we would have been right up there with the other guys now. But you know what I'm getting at?
Look, I understand what you mean, but it's I think it's clearly obvious that Rolex are wanting more and more and more control, and now the control is in the secondary, market, for watches. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
Yeah. Look, the thing is with the ADs, they're not all innocent, and they're not, I'm sure now with a lot of people.
But when you say the ADs are not all innocent, talk to me, D. What do you mean?
Let me
Come
put
on,
it
spit it out.
Listen, I'll say it straight. I must have interviewed in the last month, I must have interviewed, not just me personally, me and my team, probably about 60, 70 people that we spent 45 minutes on the phone, and we've sat with them face to face. And when I got talking and became quite friendly with these guys, they've got plans to go into the AD and do stuff on the side already. You know what I mean? And I'm like, Jesus Christ, these guys, this is what happens because...
as in do stuff on the side, as in sell watches on the side?
Yeah, and I'm just like, dude, you've told me this now, you put me in a big predicament, and that's what I'm there to do, is sieve out the good and bad guys. But look, we're dealing with human beings here, guys. It's what people don't understand. They can say one thing and do something totally different, Alex, yeah?
Yeah, look, the ADs are only as good as the staff that they take on. There was a particular situation, a lady Rolex manager, should I say, guy asked her, what can I do to get this particular sports model? And she said, you need to buy me this and that. I'm not going to say what. And he screenshotted it and sent to Rolex, and they investigated her, and she got sacked because she was asking for favors. These things happen. I know certain individuals.
There's a new policy, though, Alex. There's a new policy, right?
But they do mystery shoppers, though. This is the problem. They do mystery
shoppers, all the time. But there is a policy now that it's an instant sackable offense if someone goes into the store and they sell the watch for a profit, and you didn't do your diligence, you didn't investigate properly, then it's an instant sackable offense. This is what they said to me, the AD manager, off the back of the last interviews that they had with the candidates. So, for example, if a new sales associate's come in, he's so cool, got someone in, they find that they've sold that watch this is what the key word was, for a profit. So they've lit it a bit grey. It has to be for a profit. So if they sold it for what they bought it, then it's not an issue. So I'm just like, look, the whole thing is a bit of a mess. I'm going to be honest with you. I still can't get my head around how it's going to work and what the rules are. And I'm sure they've got a business plan. And, I was told about this, like 4 or 5 years ago. This was on the cards. Yeah. But
do we ask Paul Thorpe to come on?
Yeah. Bring the main man on.
Is that the real Paul Thorpe, though?
I don't know. Is that the real Paul Thorpe?
Is that really him? Because it'll be interesting to get someone else's view as well on this,
I did invite Giuseppe from Brothers in Time as well. I said to him it'd be good to see. He, really cool guy. They haven't got, these guys are finance analysts. These guys they haven't got all their eggs in watches. But they said to me, look, they're going to try and sell what they've got and then rebuy at the new prices. They were very honest with me. There was no BS in these guys. They're very straightforward talking guys, and really good guys. But they know the market. They know about economics. Giuseppe, he's in finance. You know what I mean. So,
Paul, is that the real Paul?
It is the real Paul.
Gents.
Hello.
Well, I hope so. Mate, I've been sitting here thoroughly enjoying that.
Come on, Paul.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, you can hear me. Yeah, no,
what you say about my client, yeah? Because I might be out of work tomorrow because of this stream, yeah? They might say to me, D, you're no longer a master vendor. We're not letting you recruit for us. All I am is a little recruiter, all I do is find people, but... No, look.
I'm not saying nothing.
No, go on, say it.
No, come. Like, it's fine. I'm only.
No.
I'm only pulling the...
Do you know what? Honestly, it's good to sit here and listen to two people that know what they're talking about what they know about. So it's good. I really, honestly, guys, I'm not going to stay for long. I'm sure people have seen enough of my face this week, but I just wanted to just say to everyone, when the stream's finished, please watch the video that I uploaded earlier about the latest scam. It's very important.
Go on, tell us what happened.
Well, it's just this old one. I mean, it happened during lockdown. People are getting calls allegedly from an authorized dealer. They're taking their money. Good evening, everyone. And it's not an authorized dealer, it's a scam, but it's very elaborate because they're hijacking the AD's phone number. The information is it's as Uncle Jonga says, it's a shocking video, and I don't want anyone else. There was a few people that fell for it last time. I know of one person that's fallen for it again just this week, and it's heartbreaking. So make sure everyone gets on it.
You'll check it out, guys. I mean, look, there's a lot of that. There's a lot more of that going to be happening, I think, with the way the economy is going as well.
Yeah, of course.
I've got a little project for you, Paul. I know that you've got your ear on the ground and you are what we call the watch journalist and news reporter. I am looking for sales associates, right?
I've been called a few other things in my time, but I'll settle for that. Go on.
I'm offering a £200 referral for successful candidates. So if you know anybody, Paul, let me know and I'll honour that.
What are you looking for? What are you looking for?
Look,
exactly.
I'll tell you exactly what I'm looking for. What do you need? I need, Paul, 2 years commercial experience in the pre-owned luxury watch market, minimal 2 years, and someone who hasn't got luxury like watch sales, but they may consider people like jewelry and something like that. Someone who knows how it works and how to talk to people in the pre-owned market. But it is essential that they have pre-owned sales experience in the watch industry, and you're not going to get that from the ADs, are you? So it's going to come from the grey market. Let's be honest. I've had a lot of people jump ship. They're going to want to go into a role where they get their pension scheme. They get their money. Salary wise, it's not bad. It's 30 to 40k with an on target earning of 70k plus in your first year.
70k.
Hold on, they've got to sell 70 grand for gear.
No. That's their commission. On target earning is 70k. It's capped though. It's capped. There will be a threshold before they start making commission, but the salary is very good. You get your 23 days holiday, guys. You know what I mean?
Not easy, is it? Not easy. No. Next, you'll be telling me she needs to be blonde, 5'7".
I got to that part. They can't have tattoos on their forehead.
You'll end up wiggling this down to you'll be accepting. I don't know. You'll accept a ferret before the end of this, as long as they've had 2 years experience.
Yeah,
it's actually harder than.
It's tough, mate. I'm pulling my hair out at the moment, especially watchmakers. Hard. I can't see where I'm going to find watchmakers. And one other thing they mentioned as well. Sorry, go ahead.
Would you not consider? I personally would prefer to take on a clean sheet and make sure they learn the right way.
Well, the thing is, we do that for the new stuff. Sales associate, they can come from any luxury background, long as they look the part, and they can draw in the punters, as we call it. That's what they want. But on the pre-sales side, they want someone with a bit of gravitas, something about them. They might even have a portfolio of clients.
Yeah, I would nip into Harrods or Selfridges and try and poach someone at someone from there myself.
And one other thing as well, they're even asking for languages. This is even topping it off. Russian is not included now, but Mandarin and Cantonese and different dialects of Arabic is hot.
Why is Russian not included?
I wonder why that is.
What, because of the situation? What's that got to do with?
We've not got no Russian.
That's ridiculous, though. What, just because of the situation over there? Now.
Well, listen, let me tell you something, Alex. A lot of the Russians over here, anyway, they're the ones that are over here. They speak perfectly good English, Alex. Yeah,
they speak better English than us.
A lot of their kids are in private school and all this sort of stuff. And the Arabs, Arabic, different dialects of Arabic. I wasn't even sure what that meant, but Mandarin and Cantonese it's the biggest request. They will pay over the odds to get someone that could speak Mandarin or Cantonese as well.
What
So
about Greek?
that says it all.
What about Greek?
Well, listen, we're the biggest flippers, mate. You know.
Yeah. The Greeks. Flipping.
My uncle's flip more Rolexes than most great dealers over here, mate. You know.
That's
You
what
know,
I call them.
delivered him.
That's what I call you guys. The flipping Greeks.
You know, this is
How many warranty cards did you used to see saying Greece on it?
and look,
Loads.
no receipt though, yeah.
No receipt.
Greece closely followed by Italia.
Mm-hmm. How about
And
Spain? I would
Portugal.
have thought Spain are up there as well, and Portugal.
Portugal.
Yeah.
Greece, but Greece. The most common ones were Greece, Italy, and Portugal. I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys know better than me that there was a one stage where we're going back to about 2015. There was a big recession out in Greece, and I felt sorry for the Greek ADs because they had to stay afloat somehow.
Yeah.
Somehow they had to keep their business.
Yeah, it was mad.
Yeah, it was, and the grey market, the grey dealers, I think, probably saved many of them from going under.
Speaking on the subject, I want to shout out Andreas from World Time, who owns Local Time out in Cyprus, Paul. I hope you'll be joining us at World Time UK on the 24th of September.
Definitely.
We've got 50 brands attending, 50 brands, and Doxa sponsoring the event, and they're actually making a few watches for the event to give away at the raffle. So if you guys want to come, it's an exclusive event for the Divers Facebook group, which has got over 65,000 members. But anyone who's involved with the D-Time Love channel, I can provide the ticket and we get in and join this exclusive event amongst friends, family, and fellow watch enthusiasts. I mean, Paul, it's a whole different world to probably what you're even used to, Paul. It's like, we've got people that attend this event every year there, that some of these guys are drone fighters in the British military that are based in Cyprus, and they come up there and they turn up with their watches, and these are guys that love their watches, but they just buy what they like. They don't, it's like there's no undue influence. It's just their minds are clear, and one guy could have an Aquanaut or a Nautilus and then go buy an unknown dive watch which has 1,000 meters water resistant rating, so it's a nice way to integrate. I think you'd enjoy it, Paul.
Definitely. I'll be there for sure.
Brilliant stuff. Good.
That's a good point that Mario brings up. He's absolutely right as well. They can't spend more than 300 quid.
Wow,
I just don't get
that's
it.
mad. It's a bit racist as well. I find it.
A bit racist. Highly racist. Highly racist. We did this to a race years back, and look what happened there. It's just wrong what we're doing.
Who did we do it 2 years ago?
Who did we do it 2 years ago? We're talking about World War II.
That's not a few years ago, is it? That's like...
You know what, Alex said? That people doing reissues on that stuff, mate, on watching it.
Well, I mean,
a
few years ago, okay, like some years back, look, I just think it's all wrong that we segregate, we're just... Every Russian person is banned.
On one man,
Every Russian person is banned. I mean, come on. I mean, how's that even fair? I just think it's ridiculous.
Well, they say we're not allowed to discriminate. Yeah, it's like, imagine if I said, "Look, I've got a candidate. I haven't got Mandarin."
I suppose the other side to that argument, Alex, is that the Ukrainians would say, "Well, it's not fair that they're in our country doing what they're doing." But I get what you're saying. I know what you mean.
No, look, there's both sides.
It's sort of a bit sort of like clicks home, doesn't it, with the Greek Cypriot Turkish situation? 1974, my family came over because their land was invaded, and stuff like that in the north. We're over here, but we integrate with the Turks. We're best friends. In North London, we're all together. We're sort of like, but we didn't discriminate, against them because they didn't do the crimes or anything to us. They didn't invade, did they? You know what I mean? So I just find it that's quite recent as well. So some of my best friends are Turkish, you know what I mean? But we're very close. We just don't talk politics. That's about it, So when he says to me he didn't have to pay to see my granddad's house and I have to pay to see it on the other side, but it's not ideal, is it? You know?
Yeah. No, I'm staying out of the politics, mate. I'm not getting
Stay
involved
out,
in that
yeah,
one.
best way.
No comment.
It was interesting hearing you talk about the serial numbers earlier on, Alex, about how they rub off and stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
that was interesting.
You've seen that, haven't you? You know what I'm talking
I have
about.
seen it. I have seen it. I don't know. I mean, I'm not being disagreeable, but I might as well be for the fun of it. The only thing that I would disagree slightly with is that I've never seen those end lugs that you were talking about consume the entire serial number. I've seen it with a line through where the edge of the end link has literally laid across it so that you get a line almost right the way through the serial number. I've seen the first and the last number become quite worn.
That's what I mean.
I've never seen the whole number disappear through that.
Sorry, I didn't explain properly. Not the whole number, but the thing is, Paul, is like when people, inexperienced watchmaker or somebody that's looking themselves, you can imagine that I'm not saying all people that buy pre-owned, but they're looking for something to worry about.
Yes,
so
agree.
Imagine you see that. It's no different than when people say, this Rolex can't be real. It's got Chinese papers. They don't know that the Chinese market is a huge market.
Yeah,
Japanese
it's bigger than
market.
ours.
Yeah, they think it can't be real. I thought Rolexes are made in Switzerland.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Yeah. You're absolutely right when you say people are looking for a reason to be disappointed or to find an excuse or whatever. You're absolutely. I mean, I've seen that far too many times.
I mean, I'm sure, Paul, yourself, when you had your business, that there was people returning watches and you could easily explain that there's nothing wrong with the watch and that's how it should be. Yeah. And then they end up buying a watch a lot more expensive elsewhere that's not even as good condition.
Yeah.
Because they've been told something completely different, or they've been on a forum and they've been told nonsense.
That old chestnut.
100%.
On the forum said it's not real. Look, you know what? The Omega Speedmasters, you know that the Japanese market, there's a lot of Speedmasters when the Reduced was around. And they've aged quite a bit now, haven't they? They've been around, you're looking at 90s models. They had like, I don't know if it's like some sort of reference number on the lug, where the case back is, Alex. And a lot of those have been polished now. And people put into question if the watch is stolen. The first thing that people say, it might be stolen. They've rubbed it off. Why did they do that? But if the watch is old and it's got damage, maybe a watchmaker would have worked on it. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Alex? Or would you be highly suspicious in regards to that?
On the Omega Speedmaster Reduced, I'm sure the reference number is on the case back, not on the lug. But
it's on the lug. It's on the lug on some of them.
On the Reduced.
On the Reduced. On the two-tone models, a lot of them had, this is a lot of the Japanese market version, had the serial, I don't know if it's a serial or what it was. You have to look, you can't really see it easily to the eye. You'd have to get a loop to see it, but there are digits there. Just inside.
Yeah, my only question is, why is somebody refinishing the back of the lug? There's no need for that.
Well, a lot of people, what he did say, because I had someone come to me and he was like, "Dude, what do you think about this?" But, a lot of people do, use them as strap monsters, don't they? They change the strap. If you're not getting a watchmaker, you damage the lug underneath.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So you might have scratched it and then you say, oh my God, I get someone to buff that out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, look, that's understandable. But if you've got a watchmaker that's polishing a back of a lug and there's a serial number on it, then I would suggest you don't use him. Because you should tape over that if you're polishing.
Yeah, or you could do like Philippe, that just puts the lacquer all over it and just forgets to polish it in the first place.
You could do that.
I do. I will say though, it just goes to show that if you want to put doubt in someone's mind, if you want to sow a seed of doubt, it's so easy to do that. And a lot of dealers do that. I've done videos on it, beta dealers, I call them. It doesn't matter what you show them. If you didn't buy it from them, it's no good.
Oh yeah. I've had that a bit as well. Like, where did you get that from? You shouldn't have got it from that guy, mate.
Yeah,
Let me have a look at the paperwork. Oh no.
Oh yeah.
It's no different than, you get certain Rolexes where they have diamond shoulders and diamond bezel. You'll find that the engraving is different on those than the normal engraving, because apparently the engraving is done within that vicinity where the diamonds are added. So the engraving is different than what you would find on a normal Rolex that doesn't have any diamond content.
There are quite a number of different engravings on serial numbers over the years. I mean, if you look at the serial numbers that are engraved back in the 70s, 80s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, you could look at them and think, really, that doesn't look right. And some of the numbers, particularly the 5s, could be a little bit off, and they weren't always totally aligned perfectly. And the layman could look at those under an eyeglass and think, no way is that Rolex. But actually, the imperfections of it make it perfect in some respects. You've got to know precisely what you're looking at.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you could also, at the same time, Paul, you could also have 2 or 3 well-known either watch dealers or watch specialists that won't agree on one watch. That's happened. You could get Dowling and you could get Wood. You could get.
I've had worktops being thrown, by one saying, you don't understand these watchmakers, Paul. They're just crazy guys. A lot of them are 70 years old. They might have Alzheimer's kicking in, right? Arthritis, and I've had a situation where look, you're mediating between people in the community. I'm mediating against guys that I worry if one throws one punch, the other guy's not getting up ever again. And I worry for Alex. He could be the last man standing. He's in shape. I mean, I'm having issues with watchmakers saying, "Oh, D, why are you promoting Alex?" And I say, "Well, you don't have a YouTube channel, mate." Yeah. Oh god.
Watchmakers are strange. They're strange. You know how many watchmakers I know?
Yeah.
and I'll say, come on, let's all go out for a curry or a drink. No, I'm not speaking to him. I'm not giving my secret. I said, listen, we're going for a drink. Relax. No. He's no good.
I don't want to say too much, but Alex, why watchmakers always bring it about race?
Do they?
Well, they do. The guys I work with, they're just like crazy. Like, I don't tell people how much spice to put in their curry. Well, they can tell me what I should be doing. I'm a watchmaker. I've been doing it for 30 years. You know who I'm talking about? Good old Philippe.
Yeah. He's quite an interesting guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Most of the watchmakers I've ever known are alcoholics.
Yeah. There was,
you got to be drinking to do this job.
Yeah.
Look, imagine if your eyesight's gone. You need one of these, Paul. This is what you need. This is the upgraded version, yeah? Mark II.
I mean, I don't want people to feel sorry for watchmakers, but I tell you now, it can get really intense. You've got a customer that has been messed around with before. He has no trust. You're going to have to reinsure him that everything's okay. You quote him a time. He's ringing you every 2 or 3 days, emailing you. How's it going? How's the watch going? When's it going to be ready? And then all of a sudden, he decides to book a holiday. He wants it done in half the time. You're there getting stressed now over a watch that you can do with no issues. Now it's becoming a problem. Then you lose a part,
Yeah.
Honestly.
Alex, do you get this one? I want the original parts back.
Oh, yeah.
My friend's like, I never got the original parts back, D. I'm bloody pissed off now. I wish I never said anything, I wish I never put it in that direction. And I'm like, then he's calling, I want the plexiglass. I want this. I want that. I'm like, Jesus Christ, but it is what it is.
I tell you what does make me laugh for the watchmakers is when people keep ringing you up, getting you away from your desk.
Yeah.
Because you're not employing people that are doing that job. You're doing it yourself. So every time you're taken away from your desk, you're not watchmaking.
No.
And the other one is when they drop it off on a Friday and ring you on a Monday and say, how's my watch getting on?
Yeah, how's it getting on, Alex? Have you looked at it yet? Did you find any problems? Could you take some pictures?
It's going to take a bit longer than that. It's going to take a little bit longer.
Can you just show me some pictures, Alex? I've just been told. I've been on the forum last night, and I've been told this and that. Is that true? Do you know this person? Could you take some pictures? And I just need to look. I want that old part back as well, please.
You see, this is where Alex is going to be using his StreamYard to just do it live for all his customers. So there's no point in calling them. There's no point in them calling you because you haven't got to it yet. You know what I mean? It's like, look, this is what's coming next, guys. Let's do it live. That could be a good idea, Alex. For you, to be fair.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, look, sometimes I envy these Rolex watchmakers or these ones that work for companies because if they get a watch in, they don't know who owns it. They don't have to ring up the person. They don't have to face them.
And they have no people skills. They don't have to have people skills. They just get paid to do the job. They don't have to talk. See, Alex, you have to multitask now. This is the problem, isn't it? You've got to get the guns. Yeah. Guns are looking good. You know what I mean? I'm surprised you can have steady hands after going to the gym every day, Alex.
No, it's if I have a lot of coffee, then it becomes a problem. Or if I've got something on my mind that I'm worried about, I can't concentrate. Or worst is that I've got a customer that is on to me, even though I've quoted him whatever it is, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, and he's already hey, Alex, I'm just outside. I'm going to pop in. Just want to have a look at the watch. Where are we up to? Is that all right? Please.
Do you get the Omega? Some of the Omega fanboys are like, oh, it's got dust particles on my dial.
They're the worst.
I'm like, where's the dust particle, man? It's like, look at it. Look, you're not looking right, D. You're not looking right. I'm getting angry now. I'm like, we're all looking at it. Like, I had to lie that I could see it. Yeah, just to sort of like, all right, mate, it's all good.
I've got to say, the Omega nerds they're the best and the worst. Look, I'm not going to knock their dedication and their enthusiasm. They know their stuff, but they could be scary because, perfect is one thing, but it's never quite good enough for the Omega nerd.
No, and I've actually turned away work where I've said, excuse me, sir or madam, personally, you need to go to Omega. And they'll say, why? It says, because I don't feel comfortable doing your watch. I feel as though that I'm not able to do it to your requirement. They can't, and then there's no harm saying that. And then I'll put it in writing to them and then give them the website, or I'll say, how about you try this person? Because I don't need the stress. I know I can do it, but if they're going to be like that, what are they going to be like if they show it to somebody else or if they go to sell it? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's a problem. You should go with your instinct and think, maybe I should just politely decline this one.
I'll tell you what you do, Alex. I'll give you some advice. You've got to qualify the customer. You ask them, what car do you drive? Okay, how often do you clean it? And do you actually detail your vehicle as well? And they're telling you they're using this special ceramic stuff, yeah? Then you know that this guy is going to be very specific about what he expects from you, Alex, yeah?
My favorite is that I get people saying there's something wrong with my date. I'm like, why? It says because it's not gone to the correct day, to the correct date. But they don't realize that the months are different. Do you understand? Do you understand what I mean?
No, it's all
like as in
so some months of the year have less days, don't they?
Oh right, yeah. Okay.
But then I have to explain to them that the date disc is printed, so your watch is not a perpetual calendar. It doesn't, it doesn't leap. It doesn't, and oh well, it wasn't like that before, but it was. It's not like it's got a complication in it. It's just disappeared. It's
I did wind up my watchmaker Philip once. I said one of the customers called me, Philip, and he said that the watch that you sent back stopped working. And he goes, what do you mean? Well, he goes, it just stopped working. And he goes to me, did you change the battery on it, Philip? He just went into it. He went mad. Mechanical watches. You bringing me these customers that know nothing about watches, yeah? But we're just winding him up. I mean, Nelly had to fit the good old boy, But imagine you must get a lot of people like that are clueless, Alex, that come in as well. You have to explain to them that your watch is mechanical and that's why it stopped working. Some people haven't got a clue.
Yeah, or you get some people where you switch the chronograph off and they'll ring me up. They'll ring me up and say my chronograph's not working. It says, yeah, because it's off. You just push the button at the top. Oh, but I use that for the second hand. No, it's not. And then you have to explain that it's a chronograph measuring time. Your second hand is either at 6 or 9 or 3. And that's what you should use for the second. And don't put your watch in a watch winder, please. You know,
But I use them for display purposes, Alex. I just like it. They might have the LED. I don't use them. Alex has put me off Cartier and watch winders as well now.
well, just
Well, he ain't putting me off a watch winder because I'll tell you, mate, I couldn't be bothered to do it. Honestly,
Yeah, but
I get
Paul,
his point, but I'm too lazy for that.
because that should be you being lazy, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
I can see that Paul likes his LED lights as well. You know, these watch boxes now, there's like hosting a piece of art. They elevate your watches. They look amazing.
It looks
They're
like in a nightclub. It looks like he's in a nightclub.
Yeah, I thought you're going to get a pole out, Paul.
Yeah, I was going to say the girls will be in a minute. I
know what goes on in there. He's like before on the private chat. He goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, gents, we have the lovely Sarah on the pole now."
Guys, listen. Thanks for having me on. I just wanted to come on, say hello to you, offer my support. Thanks for the invite as well for September. I will be there. And don't forget, after this show, don't go now. Wait until the boys have finished. But please check out that video about the latest scam because it is really important.
Check it out. Yeah, good stuff.
Thanks to you.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks to you,
Paul.
guys. All right. See you later, boys.
See you later.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care, Paul. Bye-bye.
Bye. That was a good laugh, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was good to have Paul Thorpe on the stream.
So what else were we talking about, Dee?
Don't know. We got carried away as usual, didn't we, Alex? I mean, we do love to talk. This is the problem. This is why me and you could never do an office job because my next office would go, we go bust, mate, after the first month. But,
well, I've got down here about Breitling because I wanted to mention how Breitling have also restricted their services. So now Breitling have closed down. I have to say allegedly because I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but you can't get access to Breitling parts anymore. So now they have to be sent back to Breitling, which is it's frustrating for the customer. Plus, Breitling have a habit of wanting to change the middle cases because the tube, I'll probably mention this 100 times, the tube is lasered into the middle case. It can't be extracted like an Omega or a Rolex or a Cartier. So just be aware of that. I don't know what the new Breitlings are like. I don't know if they may have thought, you know what, we'll make the tube extractable. I must admit, I don't know. I don't work on the newer Breitlings, and I'm very selective on.
Right? You're talking about the B1.
Yeah. I have no experience of working on it. I'm being honest. I don't have any technical data and I can't get the parts. Therefore, I have to decline. And I just say to clients, send it to Breitling. It's probably best that you do send it to Breitling because if you send it to somebody who's not Breitling accredited, there's a very high possibility that they won't service it properly because they're not using the correct parts. And they may not even know how to service it. That's just an opinion.
Okay.
So the part restrictions, which is really annoying on the Breitling.
Really tough, isn't it? For Breitling customers, for people that own Breitling, that's going to be a pain in the ass. If you've got a relatively affordable Breitling, about 1,500 quid, $2,000, your service could be 50% of the value of the timepiece, mate. For God's sake.
Oh look, I've seen it half. I've seen it half or more.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? So then you're stuck, aren't you, in a way? And let's be honest, the resale value of Breitling is pretty shocking, isn't it? Yeah,
unless you're looking at Navi timers, they're not too bad, are they? To be fair, I don't really follow Breitling that much. I do like Breitling, but I'm not a major enthusiast, if that makes sense. I don't keep an eye on them that much. It's one brand that I'm not that knowledgeable of, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Breitling a bit funny, haven't they been bought out and they're private now or something? So the rules have changed. They've been really strict. Yeah,
I don't know what's going on with Breitling, but they've launched some half decent models, with that pistachio green, Samandal, Chronos. They look a bit like a Patek Philippe. They're really attractive watches, but I haven't felt the need to pull the trigger on one yet. They haven't really captured my emotions, if that makes sense.
Well, that pistachio green reminds me of my father's Mercedes 350 SE. Green, yeah, very
That's what I'm
nice.
talking about, man. Pistachio for a Greek man, man. That's
He had a boomerang on the back of it.
That's his comfort eating. You had an argument with the missus, mate. You just pop a pistachio out. You know what I mean?
Greggy Boy has asked us a question. Greggy Boy does the perfumes, you know. Have you been over
Okay.
Yeah, he does some great perfumes. I've got
We need
a
to
few
get some
samples.
advice when we're on the night out.
Yeah.
How to smell sexy.
Alex, if you have your watches in the bank and only go there every 6 weeks, is there a benefit to winding them or any detriment to not? No, I wouldn't suggest winding them. Just leave them. Look, some people say, well, no, that's wrong because you've got to keep the oils and greases moving. But the thing is, Mobius oils and greases are so advanced now that they're checked in different temperatures. They check for duration. That personally, I don't think there's any point of winding them. If you want to wind them, there's no harm winding them, but there's no issue winding them. But I don't really see any point winding them. You can, but you're not going to do any harm if you do. If I'm making sense. Do mainsprings set as well? I'm asking this myself. Mainsprings, can they crack if they're idle? No. Rolex had an issue where their mainsprings on the 3135 were cracking at their weakest point. That was a problem, but as far as I've seen, that's not a problem anymore. Talking of Rolex, the new 32 caliber, there's been people complaining about the noise of the rotor. That's been sorted out.
Is that when you take it for the first service, Alex? How does that work?
Something to do with the ball bearing system, because on the 3-1, the thing that will fail the most is the rotor, because it's not on a ball bearing system. It's like an axle that's basically in a circular sapphire jewel. And over time, that wears. So whenever you always get that really dud, like a real, like, spin, that you can just put it next to your ear and you can feel like a vroom, vroom, you know, it sounds really weird. And then what happens is the rotor starts to move up and down instead of spin, and you can hear it tapping you can hear a tapping noise. That's the thing that always fails on the 3135 caliber. The 32 caliber has a ball bearing system now, so that doesn't fail.
Right. Okay.
But it's loud on the earlier models, as far as I know of. I don't know 100% how true it is, but they've changed it to a different ball bearing, which is either smaller balls or bigger balls, which makes it quieter.
Speaking of big balls, the 7750, that thing you don't need an alarm with that one. No, you know what? When I first had a watch with a 7750, I should say, my instant thoughts were this watch must be fake, because it just this just shows you what I know about watches. I was like, this doesn't sound right, and you're telling me what a good movement is, and that's the first. I feel like I need to get rid of it, because when I think of luxury, I think of refinement of the manual wind, hacking, whatever, But when I hear a noisy rotor, I think lack of quality.
Yeah, look, I mean that the 7750 only winds one way. And the way it's not winding is what you're hearing. That's why it spins, and then it winds the other way.
It's like someone telling me, a mechanic, saying, "Don't buy a Ferrari or Lambo or anything like that, or M Sport or AMG. You should buy yourself a Tata or a Lexus because it's more reliable."
Yeah, but
listen, you're telling me that's how you think as a watchmaker. Maybe that it's worth me buying that Cartier and saying, at least when my watch gets serviced, they give me a new engine.
Well, look, that Cartier movement is movement exchange, right? They don't
brand new, my
service
friend. Brand new.
Brand new, eh? They don't service. They don't service the movement. They take it out.
Fantastic.
They put a refurbished movement in. How
So
do
they
you
take
feel
my
about
one
that?
out and then they fix it, but then they put it in the next one.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Listen, look, let me put it to you like this. Like you're saying, the people that are to blame for this is the Swatch Group, yeah? What they did with ETA.
But is it though? Isn't it more the fact that it's all about money, profit? Ma Betty Bezzy's Mary.
Listen, if someone gives me a new movement, it's a new movement. Not some guy that's going to tell me come back in 4 years. Look, how long is it going to last, that movement, Alex? Yeah,
Oh,
you're
2
telling me.
seconds.
No, but let's be serious. When do
I'm
you
being
need to take it
serious.
in?
Look, for me,
I'm going to get a call
yeah,
from Richmond Group. Well, this guy is. What is he saying about our brand,
look,
man?
I'm just going for look, guys. You know, I mean,
They're going to put something in your drink. You're not going to wake up one day, mate.
everything I'm saying is of experience.
Mm-hmm.
I have no dog in the fight. I can just go from experience. I had one situation in which a dealer, a real nice dealer, a friend of mine, who's a good dealer, he brought me the Cartier Santos, new style Santos in, and said, Alex, there's a problem with this. I said, look, I can't work on it. It's an in-house movement. No, please just look at it. So I opened it and I thought, please.
Shock horror. We
thought,
got to do a video on this when you pop one like, and it's like it's a fit or something when he sees the movement.
I thought this is fake, and I thought, this can't be real, and I thought, no, it is. This is a real watch, and somehow the movement plate lifted and the screws lifted, and I was like working on it, and it's got like the Seiko pour system for the auto, but it was just so cheaply done, and to the point where certain Ronda movements and certain other make of movements, people just exchange them because it's cheaper to do it.
Okay. Look, Alex, you're a book of knowledge, mate. You really are, to be fair.
So I looked at this, thought, this is 100, and I know for a fact they don't service them. They move and exchange them. So they take that movement out. That will then go on as like a carousel service. And then they'll put another movement in that belong to another watch. Now, I don't know. I might wake up tomorrow or 5-6 days later, and I get a letter from Richmond Group saying, "Listen, retract what you're saying." But this is true. This is true. A lot of companies are doing movement exchanges because either they can't get the watchmakers to work on it, but it's about time and profit, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's about.
It's shocking to hear because you just wouldn't expect it from a brand like Cartier. To be honest with you, I'm pretty disappointed to hear that because you expect this is what Sorry to address and go back to Rolex, but they're a product for life, isn't it? That you pass down and you can maintain and so on, and just makes you think what might happen to that watch in the next 30 years. Alex, is that movement still going to be available to exchange?
Can you imagine?
The issue, right?
Can you imagine you're looking at your career at your early 21, 22, and you get sent to Seiko and you have to do 600-700 movement exchanges? Do you know how do you know how I was put in the most? I don't want to say negative to Seiko. I appreciate them having me for so long, but to see the difference between like Richemont Group, Jaeger LeCoultre, and Seiko, but both companies,
though, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but both companies have something in common: the movement exchange.
Okay.
Some people might say, do you know what? I don't mind having another movement in my watch. I don't care if it's been refurbished. Well, some people think, well, I want to keep it to the original.
Now, I'm just thinking that when they put out the sales figures this time round for the Swiss brands, obviously Rolex was number one in terms of sales, but Cartier came in at number 2. So there's a lot of disappointed people to hear that, a lot, let's be honest, the majority of the sales would have been that Cartier Santos, Alex, I would have thought,
Look, I mean, sometimes I wonder, should I even said anything about the Cartier Santos? But look, exterior-wise, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a stunning thing. Interior-wise, no. Just,
fair enough.
That's why I always would say I would have the Cartier Santos chronograph over that. Or I'd have the Cartier Santos automatic over that. I wouldn't have the new Cartier. Because once again, you're restricted. and
Mm-hmm.
I've known ADs to pull out of
Wow.
Cartier because of this issue, allegedly.
So Watchfinder have got quite a few, haven't they, of Cartiers on, because they're obviously owned by Richmond Group. I can imagine rather than destroy the product, they pump it out like salvage to Watchfinder. Do you think maybe those figures are manipulated in terms of Cartier sales because they've now got another avenue to sell those watches?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. That's something that
Because I just can't. I was shocked when I looked at the figures that they were doing better than Omega, to be honest with you.
you think that Cartier's figures are.
I'm not gonna, no, this sounds like we're bashing the brand.
No,
I
we're
actually
not.
want to
Look,
buy
I'm
one, you
not.
know what I mean? But it
Look,
just sounds that,
I'm not bashing Cartier. I'm just giving you from an experience of a watchmaker what I've
Mhm.
experienced and what I've heard. There's
So the Roadster's got the what? The 7750 you said? I can't remember what you said the
so the
movement was.
Roaster's got the 2892 bolt on.
So it's like modular.
It's a modular. Now that the
Okay.
problem is with the modular, once again, you need somebody who's experienced on working on the modular because it splits in
Okay.
two. Imagine a 7750 is a whole movement. You can't split it.
Yes.
Modular, as in the word modular, is a module that sits on, it piggybacks onto the 2892. So it just sits on.
So it's an add-on function,
Yeah.
basically, is what you're
But
saying, yeah? Okay.
both have got to work in harmony. Because if there's an issue with the bolt on, it lowers the amplitude of the 2892. And if there's an issue with the 2892, then the chronograph function is not going to work properly. So they have to be both serviced correctly. And the modular, they're not easy to work on, and the parts are not easy to get hold of. And I'm glad to say at this moment in time, Perpetual-Time works on them, and we give extended warranties on them as well. So sometimes I'll get somebody in who's got a Rolex or a Cartier, and they've been disgruntled with previous service. What I'll do is I'll push the warranty up to then make them fall in love with their watch again. So it's not the watch, it's the person who did it previously.
Okay.
Because I had a situation where a lady had her watch serviced by Rolex. Within the warranty, the mainspring snapped. They said, we're not willing to change the mainspring. You're going to pay £700 on top of the 500 you paid previously. So I said, look, I'll do it. I think I did it for like $390 or $420. And I gave her, I think, almost like a 3-year warranty, including the mainspring. And I even sent her a box of chocolates, and she threw away the paper. She threw away.
Must have been nice, huh?
she threw away the paperwork with the chocolates there. So I had to redo the paperwork.
My God, and you're not good at paperwork, are you, Alex?
Look, for me, it's about trying to give the customer to say, look, it's not the watch, it's either a previous service, or maybe it's you. You're expecting too much from the watch. I like to be honest with customers. I say, I'm sorry, but you're expecting too much. You're either sell it or just live with it. And what I mean is where they're expecting super accuracy for a watch that's over 30, 40 years old. You have to be honest.
You've got to manage your expectations. I think if you mislead anybody, that's when the problem is. If you start by giving them the worst case scenario from the beginning, it's a little bit easier for them to take long term.
Because there was one particular gentleman I remember a while ago who said that he had an Omega Speedmaster and he didn't like the way the minute hand on the subdial changed. It was point something out, and it was his second or third Omega with the problem. Right.
Not one is the same, apparently, right? Is this true? Not one movement works exactly this. They've got their chronometer ratings, but they're not one is exactly the same. This is the truth.
For timekeeping, that's understandable. But for when the minute hand turns over, when the chronograph is running, it should be the same, if not exactly the same, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But he was saying it's his second or third one. And I said to him, buddy,
Yeah,
listen.
that's.
I said, listen, come
It
on.
might be the distortion of the
Matt, what are you
the crystal.
timing? Yeah, but the question is, what's he timing that's so important?
I think I know what he was timing.
Look, if you're going to into something that is tiny on your wrist, then you gotta imagine running your car for 365 days a year and expecting it to keep running with no issues. That's a mechanical watch. You expect it to run for 365 days a year and for it to be accurate -4 + 6 seconds a day, which is the chronometer rate in the Rolex. Now Rolex's new movements are even more accurate. But when people ring me
What
up
about
and say,
METAS certification, my friends?
well,
You always never want to mention this.
Metas,
You
Metas,
don't
you know
want to
you're
upset. You don't want to upset the Rolex fanboys.
so you got to ask yourself, okay, look, I get some questions where the watch is gaining 2 seconds a day, Alex. Should I get it serviced? I'm like, no.
You're a good man, because any other watchmaker, yes.
No, I
Bring it
wouldn't.
to my workshop.
No, it's not.
You're,
I mean,
you're an honest man. You're not.
I have one
you're a
great
good
client
man.
of mine. I have one great client of mine who wanted his was it? He had 60 or 70 Rolexes and he wanted them all servicing. You calculate how much money that is to me. We're talking thousands. And I said, no. He says, why? I says, because you don't wear them. What's the point? You're not wearing them. And plus, they're vintage pieces. So there's people that
This is why you're going to be working. You're going to retire at 80 at this rate.
Yeah, no, it's true. So, but don't get me wrong. There was one watch he gave me that he bought from an auction. He wanted me to check in to service it. And it's a beautiful vintage Explorer. The patina on the dial and hands is stunning. Beautiful, yeah. And I think the only thing I changed was the plexiglass, which is an original plexiglass, and his old one back. You know, and someone put like polish middle links on it when it should be all matte finish. You know, that I understand, but I don't. How you have to be honest and say no. You're not wearing them. You bought them to enjoy them and an investment. They don't need servicing. Leave it.
Look, I think the one thing that the ADs are guilty of when you go to the Rolex AD anyway, they say that you need to service it within 3 to 4 years. You know, that first it was 5, now it's 3 to 4 years. They just want to get them in.
Look, I don't blame the ADs because they look at a watch and they'll say, right, we need to change this and this and this and this, right? And it's expensive. They rather replace than repair. That makes sense. It's just,
okay.
you know, that's why they're not going to repair. They're going to replace. And then they can give the correct warranty. But obviously when you're replacing stuff on now almost on any sports Rolexes, even non-sports, you know, it can cause an issue with the value of the watch.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I mean. It's like they wanted Rolex wanted over £10,000 for a white gold middle case on a Daytona. £10,000. That's crazy.
Wow. Big money.
Big money. It's, you know, and you know, so
I was going to ask you a question about AP servicing, but we could be here all night in regards to their prices and stuff like that. Do you deal with AP as well, Alex?
I used to do, but I don't work on them anymore. I'm not particularly fond of their movements, but that's because I'm not experienced on them and I can't get the parts. So that's me being ignorant. However,
it's 70s movement, right? So,
well, however,
arguably.
if you have an AP, send it to AP. Okay. If you have an AP Royal Oak,
it's like cars.
Just send it to AP, honestly.
You got a Ferrari, you ain't going to go to your local guy that is back under a bridge to service your Ferrari, right?
No,
Something
you're
of that
not.
magnitude. Not to belittle you, Alex, there.
No. Listen,
You know what I mean? But it's like if you
no.
compare the parts, I mean, that's a different ball game, isn't it? Depending on what you're working on. How about Jacob and Co. and these types of brands? Has anyone ever said to you, "Look, can you do a Jacob and Co. for me," or something like that? Something out of this world.
Oh, look, I've done that Jacob and Co. You know, one with all the like time
Oh, the
zones. It's
quartz
all
one. The
quartz.
quartz.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
right.
all
Okay.
quartz.
What's
Yeah, I've
that?
done.
4 battery changes.
It's like, yeah, they're all batteries, aren't they?
Is it like
It's-
little batteries, loads of different
It's
quartz
little
movements? Right?
movements. It's little
Wow.
movements just on the dial. But other Jacobs, I've never worked on. But I can't. Not that I can't. I won't.
What about Hublot?
Yes, Hublot. You see my
You have,
Instagram.
yeah.
I do
You know.
Hublot.
But
Yeah.
what about their sort of master complications? You know, those.
No,
those
listen, the Unico you can do, but they're like real high end complications. No, I don't.
You're trying to tell me something Alex can't do, huh? Oh,
Listen,
you know.
listen,
I have to train you further, my friend. Back to the drawing board, my friend.
Look, you just have to be honest because last thing you want is to be under pressure, knowing that you've never worked on it before. But then again, I know some watchmakers and I really respect them. Well, they will take it on because either they have access to the parts through obviously legitimate legal means and they are willing to work on it. That's fine.
A lot of them will make a few calls, won't they, and see if they can get the parts. If they can't, they'll be like, look, I have to leave it, sort of thing. So
yeah, I mean, look, if you can't get the basic part like the mainspring for a watch, then do you really want to put the old mainspring in? No, I wouldn't, because it's detrimental on the amplitude and the power reserve and everything else. You know, you want to change at least the mainspring and maybe the reverser wheels and etc. You know, so yeah, you just got to. I'm fortunate enough at this moment in time. I hope it doesn't change. Touch wood, that I can choose what I want to work on, and stuff I can't work on, I'll refer to somebody else. I say, how about you try the BHI with a list of watchmakers, or maybe this person. I won't just say I can't help you unless it's something that I really cannot help.
I think with the way things are going, Alex, I think you will probably be one of the leaders in terms of the alternatives to this authorized AD pre-owned scenario, because I reckon you will be working more with grey dealers or pre-love, whatever you like to call them now, Alex, going forward. I think to say that you've got a report from Perpetual-Time, some sort of certification from a WASTEP certified British Horological Board member is going to give more credibility to their side of the business. I'm not just saying that. I'm being totally transparent and honest.
Well, that's why I've been working, like I mentioned it to you quite a few times. I've been doing some work for National Crime Agency on seizures of watches, etc. And I'm trying to work closely with them so I can become on their list of special, specialists. That's something I've always
got a cool
wanted to do.
question from Ian. Yeah,
I know you're a lawyer.
He's got an eye there. This guy,
it's 5 to 1 on yours clock.
Listen, it's a quartz thing. It's not a battery operated. So this is something that I've just moved. So this is a new studio setup. Ian's like, it doesn't need a service. It just needs a battery. Yeah. So but you see, I needed to put it at 10:10, didn't I? To make it look good.
Oh, the smiley
face. The
smiley face, yeah. No Rolex, no sex. Hi, Alex. Can you explain why a Rolex service takes 8 to 12 weeks? Why does a watchmaker need to keep the watch that long?
I'll tell you why. He goes out on a night out. He's like, I'm rich tonight, boys,
So I can only explain from my experience, because we have to assess the watch, check what parts it needs. Then we have to strip it down or do a part clean, check the parts.
Ultrasonic clean, they call it, Alex. Yeah,
ultrasonic cleaning machine, or if you've got
explain to you what you do with an ultrasonic clean, Alex.
Well, there's 2 ultrasonic cleaning machines. There's the ultrasonic cleaning machine for the parts, which once you strip down, you put in a basket, like this here. So that goes in the basket. It goes, and you can't see my machine. It's over in the corner. Let me wait a minute.
It's like a magic trick. This. There it
See
is.
that machine over there?
Oh yeah.
That blue one. So it
Mhm.
goes in that machine there. I think, is that how many jars is that? 1, 2, 3. That's a 4 jar. Some companies prefer a 5 jar ultrasonic. Mine's a 4 jar non-ultrasonic. So I make sure that the jewels are pegged out and everything's checked. So that's an ultrasonic tank. Sorry, an ultrasonic cleaning machine. Now, ultrasonic tank is the polishing. So polishing the casing bracelet, we stick in an ultrasonic tank. It's better to have an ultrasonic cleaning machine. However, if you clean the watch prior, you should peg out the jewels anyway. But an ultrasonic cleaning machine does make a difference, I must admit. It does on the parts, it does.
Look, Alex, I want to say one thing. I think all the guys that have come from D-Time Love Channel tonight, all the guys from the Watch Addiction Club, anyone that's following, please subscribe to Alex. We want to get him up to that 1,000 subscriber count, guys. Upvote, do what we need to do. We need to get this guy. This is a guy that really adds value to the community. Trust me, there's not many watchmakers that you can actually engage with and even understand what they're talking about. They're still caught up with their work. They just don't. They don't need to communicate with people because they sort of just get the work put on their worktop and they just work and they just crack on with it. But let's help Alex get to that 1,000 subscriber count, guys. Please, let's do it together. Let's get him up there and let him really, really show us what he can do on the live streams. Yeah, we're giving them that extra motivation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, listen, it's a lot of watchmakers are like, sometimes I get phone calls like, Alex, what are you doing? Why are you on the YouTube?
People envious of Alex, yeah? The watchmakers are like, bloody hell, what's this guy doing? He's actually talking on the videos.
Look, some of them I've wanted to get on, but they're either too busy or they just don't want to.
The problem is, I've got another guy called Alex. It's a problem. It's a problem because you're both called Alex. So who do I refer to? Alex 1 or Alex Mark 1 or Mark 2 or Alex Alpha or Alex Omega?
Alex Omega,
You're giving me internal politics, mate. You have.
No, look, come on, listen. I respect watchmakers because I am one myself, but I feel as though I'm not just a watchmaker. I have more to give. I have a lot more experience. I also, have a passion for this as well. A lot of watchmakers, they just want to be on the bench, which is I totally respect, and they don't want to do anything else. They just want to keep out of, just want to be private, and that's fine. But I want to delve in more.
Yeah.
Show how watches, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. Like, these are the watches to go for. I can only tell you from my experience and from other experience of other watchmakers. And when I talk about other watchmakers, there's an exceptional watchmaker that's going to be joining DM Robinson's in Liverpool. That came ex-Richard Mille watchmaker. He's a fantastic watchmaker. I have a lot of respect for him. I get on with him well. So that, I'm looking forward to seeing him.
Fantastic. That's great news to have someone of that expertise.
Oh yeah.
Someone who's worked with watches of that magnitude is always going to be very, very highly sought after, especially in the UK. Yeah. There's not many of people, like in regards to the other Alex, the way he differs from you, I think you guys would work well together in the fact that he is more, he can produce dials, he can customize dials. He's more, he's got the mechanical side, but he's got more on the creative side, if that makes sense. Yeah, so he's not to everybody's taste. What he's doing, a bit of an artisan type finishing that he's able to do, Alex. Yeah, so I think if you guys were to get together and collaborate and maybe one day produce your own watch brand, then you've got the mechanical side and the aesthetic design side covered, Alex. Yeah.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, D.
What do you think? It's a bit obvious. But you know, I'm the middleman. I bring people together. Yeah, it could be the next. You know, we're talking about maybe forget the Holy Trinity. This could be the Zeus of watches. Yeah.
Well, between you and I, you signed my NDA. You've seen what I've produced as a prototype and CAD
Yes.
drawings, and well, not as a prototype, but CAD drawings, 3D drawings, and so you've seen what I've.
I can bring it to life because I'm a former CGI artist by trade, so I could potentially bring Alex's vision to your screens.
Madre.
Oh,
Now we're talking.
We're talking theatre now.
No. We should get O'Sheen on board to make the video.
He could do the audio.
Do the audio.
Can you imagine? We get some music, the theme tune would be O'Sheen and Alex will sat with his watch like a bodybuilder, like a oiled up. It's going to look more like a dodgy, like Versace advert,
You sold it to me, D. You sold it to me now.
You literally just cover your privates, yeah? You come out with the watch all oiled up. Looking good. I'll make them I'll enhance your body to make you look.
Oh, you're going to enhance me? Yeah. Exotic, right?
I'll add some hair.
Yeah? Oh, yeah, I need the hair.
Long hair, long.
I wouldn't mind your hair, actually. You're Malia.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you got a good head on you.
Good set, not bad for a 40-year-old.
Yeah, are you 40 now?
40, yeah. We're both the same age, right?
I'm 39.
That's all right. Whatever, mate.
Who do you think looks younger?
We'll leave it to the audience. Let me get closer. Look, hardly any wrinkles. It's because I'm not all day in the gym pumping on, going like you're on the toilet seat, mate, all day. L'event, isn't it?
So has anyone got any questions? We should wait for some questions to come in.
Well, we got Ian Spartan. Now, you see, it's all about, it's not necessarily how big you are, Alex, or how big your muscles are. It's all about the knowledge up there. And it's the same thing when it comes to watchmakers. Me and Alex are thinking about getting in the ring, guys. We're thinking about going a few rounds.
Oh, that'll be fun. You wouldn't last long anyway.
Well, mate, I'm more like Mayweather, and you're more like, probably Audley Harrison.
Orderly.
Very orderly.
Did you watch Canelo versus Bivol?
No, I didn't, unfortunately.
I was so shocked. But then again, that just showed my ignorance towards somebody that's never been beaten, which is Bivol, which is Russian as well, isn't it?
The thing is, they market it, Canelo to be like this. He's marketed to be like invincible, isn't he? Like unbeatable sort of thing. So,
oh, he wants to join in.
Come on, Ian, jump on, my friend.
Does he mean join in the fight, or does he mean?
I don't know. Oh, maybe. I think maybe he wants to be the referee, because after I get in there, it'll be instant stoppage. But
you honestly think you could stop me?
Listen, mate, all I need to do is dance around that ring and it'll be so out of fucking breath. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you swearing. You swearing. Swearing. Okay. All right.
Or we can do like what Archie Nunnock did, that Royal Rumble on the computer game. That was brilliant, by the way.
I actually watched that and I found it funny. I like Marcelo. He looked like Marcelo as well, didn't he?
Even Paul Thorpe was in that as well.
With the tattoos.
I don't know if Thorpe's seen that, but it was good. It was good. Look, it was a bit of fun, but it was, it was good. And Ocean's got the goes in with the guitar as well. It was quality stuff, mate. I'll tell you what. Green Room has got a talent. I'll give him that. To put that together, it's very good.
Be like Lauren Hardy, There you go. How many rounds do you think you could do?
Listen, I wouldn't go for the knockout, boys. I'll be honest with you. Alex is I'm 5'7" / 5'8" in trainers, so I'm not a big chap, and I weigh about 13 stone. You listen. I don't think you do cardio, Alex. I'd have to rely on my speed.
I did cardio today, actually.
I did a cardio. The only cardio you do, mate, is lifting up how many fucking reps you did on the weights.
Man, swearing again, right?
Sorry.
Dee, tell us more about World Time 2022.
World Time UK. Well, it's going to be a fantastic event for sure. I attend every year, and Thomas Burnett, I'm hoping he'll be attending as well. I believe Thomas will be celebrating potentially. I think it's your birthday as well
Yeah,
on the
he's
day,
only
so
20
we'll get
only
a few drinks
25.
in for Thomas Burnett. It's going to be
25.
fantastic. Yeah, and there's going to be 50 brands have confirmed now, and Dockstar are the main sponsors of the event as well. And there'll be raffles for everybody. It's just going to be a great fun event. It's free entry as well if you come through the D Time Love channel, or if you're an exclusive member of the actual Facebook group. It's a bit like a meetup, Alex. This, to be honest with you, yeah. It's a lot of people that I've known for over a decade are going to be there, and I've got a close relationship with the brands as well. So it's going to be a bit more personal, not so commercial. You're not going to see people pushing sales or anything. It's going to be like, here are the watches. Have you got any questions? Let's discuss them. Get a feel for the watch. Get it on your wrist and enjoy the day, guys.
Also, because obviously what I do is watchmaking. If anyone wants to ask me for any advice there, or wants to for me to look at a watch prior for any reason, by no means am I saying that anyone's going to be selling watches there that are not right or any issues.
Well, the thing is, they're from the brands, Alex. So you're not going to have any authentication needed.
No. But if someone like was asking me what my thoughts are and this and that, and just it's not a problem. Happy to do that.
Mm-hmm. I've been getting advice of how to deal with you in the ring, Alex. That I choke him out. It could be when Rocky Balboa fought Hulk Hogan. I think it was in Rocky 3, right? And he choked him. Get on top of this giant and take him down.
Oh, is that how you're going to choke me out?
Yeah. Listen, Alex, look, there's a lot of big chaps. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk, mate.
Well, God loves a triad, you know that. So, listen, if you want to train hard, I don't mind getting in the ring with you. It's not a problem.
Listen, Alex, I think you have to look at my Facebook and see the people that I've sparred, and then decide whether you want to go a few rounds with me.
Yeah, but that was like how many years ago?
It doesn't matter. It's all in there. Muscles have memories.
When did you spar those people?
Well, it's a few years ago, but it's who have you sparred though, Alex?
Listen, I've
the
sparred.
The bag don't hit back. The bag doesn't hit back. Listen, boxing's not for me. Boxing is not for me, to be honest with you. But
you're too sexy for boxing. You're too good looking for boxing.
Listen, boxing, I'll only have to fight if I have to save my family. That's the only time I would fight. I didn't go to uni and that to get in the boxing ring, to be honest with you. But
excuses.
But already. If Alex pushes all the wrong buttons, then we could have a fight at World Time. At this
Royal Rumble World Time sponsored.
I'd have to get one of my 3,000 meter dive watches. They've got a bit of heft. One hit with that, it's over.
Yeah, I reckon Tickers will sponsor us.
Yeah.
Right, D. I think
we call it a night. I think when we're losing the plot, I think that's when it's time to call it a night. To be fair, but we've had a lot of viewers, 152 viewers. Don't forget to upvote. Don't forget to subscribe to Alex's channel, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, don't forget the D Time Love channel as well. I know there's a few guys from the Watch Addiction Club. They've been messaging me. They've thoroughly enjoyed the show, and Alex, they've really enjoyed listening to a professional about watches because look, one of the questions. I'll be honest with you, one guy's messaged me saying, "Look, it's great to hear someone not talking BS about watches for a change." So you've just straight to the point, Alex, which is great news. It's been a good stream, I think.
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, we've been on for 2 hours and 23 minutes, 24 minutes. It's crazy. I mean, I'm just going to send the link out in case people want to see us backstage, for the VIP.
Yeah, if anyone wants to talk or want to have, get a bit more inside information about World Time, or wants to ask me any questions about how they can get tickets or anything like that, I can sort that out very easily, guys. It's not an issue. I can give out pretty much not unlimited, because there is restrictions, but I can get you in relatively easy, no problem at all.
Okay. Well, I think it's time for us to go, D. Thanks for
Yep.
everyone for watching, and see you guys later.
Take care, guys.
Bye bye.